I forgot my latency. How do I keep forgetting it after the couple times that I've been doing this? I keep forgetting to turn on latency. Am I even audible at the moment? Am I even audible? Bleh. Ugh. Oh well, sorry, I'm just checking anything behind the scenes. Wonderful. Oh well, at least I'm audible. Up to remind me before you start. Well, thank you, I appreciate it. It doesn't seem like it's too bad, at least. Oh. Well, let's get into it, shall we? Sorry, I'm still sniffling. Oh, hold on. Why am I over there? Let me put myself over here. Oh. Sorry, I'm still... sorry. Oh. I'm just grunting right now. That's all I'm doing right now is just grunting. Grunting and groaning. Oh, wait, is my audio even, my BGM even playing? I don't know. Oh, goodness. Where was I? I think now I'm still stunned by the fact that I forgot my latency issues. Never mind. Bleh. Why can't I think? I mean, we've already established that again, my IQ drops by a significant margin anytime I start streaming. But I am feeling, I was feeling like I was getting a sickness yesterday, and to be honest, I still sort of am feeling a little under the weather, but not so much. But where was I? What am I doing? Who am I? No, I know who I am. I'm the Dark Lord of Gorslab, Demonstrous. And because of that... Greetings and salutations, my demongrels. What tidings do you bring for your lord? We're just doing a ZatsuD'an. ZatsuD'an. Why do I keep wanting to say ZatsuD'an? It's Dan, ZatsuD'an, ZatsuD'an. If I'm even saying that right. But yes, the mongrels, what tidings do you bring for your lord? And also, I apologize that I still do not have a chat overlay yet. I'm working on it. I'm trying to get one done. Hopefully tomorrow, if not Sunday, because I'm not streaming Sunday, and then I'm thinking that maybe I won't. That I will try to actually get one. So, I don't know. Who's Dan? I don't know. Who is Dan? Who are all of you? You're my demongrels, right? You are my demongrels, right? Right? You are my demongrels, right? Let me get real close. Oh, Cornflakes, welcome. Welcome, my friend. I don't know what I'm doing. I guess we're just chatting. Hi, Tail. I know your tail. I'm just trying to figure out, I'm just doing this as a just chatting stream. I don't know. Welcome, Argent. Good to see you. I'm just trying to figure out what I want to do. Just talk about. This is a completely unscripted, I mean, that's what Zatsus are they not? I'm just talking about whatever. And it's the worst time for me to, not, turn on freaking latency. Also, before next stream tomorrow, I really need to dive more under the hood and actually try to figure out what I'm doing. Also, if anyone was wondering who jumped in and why I was all the way over here, I said I don't know what I'm doing tonight, but that's not entirely true. That's not entirely true. I do plan on doing like I do plan on, hey, you made it, John. Yes, latency, yes, yeah, I don't know how much further you guys are behind me. I'm trying to figure out just how far, you know, how much further. I would really remind you one of these streams. No, you're busy. You're a busy man. You're a busy man, even though you're retired. And you're not there when I need you the most. I can't stay mad at you. I can't stay mad at you. I should stay mad at you because all my demongrels keep wanting to basically keep needling me. Probably because they want to actually make me. They think that I maybe they think I just no. We established this yesterday. They want to make me more arrogant, more belligerent, more bossy as a Dark Lord. I suppose that I'm not being too egotistical, not being bold enough, not being brash enough as Dark Lord. Of course, Lab. That I'm too soft. Even though my skin is leathery, I'm very bony. Look, just because I have a spare tire, just because I have some fat, the belt is holding it in. Okay, the belt is holding it in. Be more domineering. Look, I am already a dom. All right, I'm already a dom. Have you ever played Darkest Dungeon? No, that's actually something I've considered doing, though. I would like to do Darkest Dungeon. I've never actually played it, though. I know there's a lot of mods. I know there's maybe I'm gonna add that to my content list. Thank you, Cornflakes. But John, it's actually interesting you're here because one of the things I was planning on doing tonight is I was planning on doing quote-unquote slop. And part of that react slop was, you're like me, dealing with Dunlap disease, my belly Dunlapped over my belt. No, my belly's trimming a little bit. Listen. I have some fat I'm dealing with, okay? I have some fat I'm dealing with on my belly. The belt is helping pull, this big belt is helping, okay? Part of why I wear this big belt. Yes, I'm doing some react slop. I just always keep interrupting myself because I'm looking at chat, trying to read you guys. Maybe it's good that I don't have so many viewers and so many chatters that I can actually read what's going on, and then contemplate and then interrupt myself on a tangent before jumping to another tangent. Likewise. But yes, I thought about doing some react sloppa because I don't know. Listen, I'm just going to be experimenting, okay? I've never been, and perhaps this is why I haven't been a successful Dark Lord, is I've never been someone who does the meta. Like, I've never been anyone. It's a small blessing that you don't have too many chatters here at the start of your career. Speaking of me interrupting myself to read your chat, and also don't blame yourself for that, Demongrels, even though I probably should. As Dark Lord, I should be more assertive as a Dark Lord. But no, that is. I will not blame you for my own faults in this regard. If I'm going to be arrogant, I at least want it to be some level of earned arrogance. Yes, I want it to be some level of earned arrogance. Anyways, where was I? To be frank, I have no issue with React Slop. It's crazy. It's cozy, not crazy. Blah. Blah. Where was I? I was talking about the meta. I've never been someone who does the meta, primarily because I've never really been a competitive. Arrogance is like coffee, you have to earn it. Yeah, fair. I'll let you have that one, John. Anyways, where was I? Yes. I've never been anyone who's kind of done the meta. You know what I mean? Like, even when I play competitive games, I've never been the best at everything because I like to play things my way, even if it's completely suboptimal. What vids do you got line up now, or can we suggest? I'm open to suggestions because I trust as much as you all torment me and harry me. I do trust my demongrels for the most part. But I actually do have, for React Slop, I do actually have a video that was recommended by John last time, which was the Pepsi fleet. I'm curious about the Pepsi fleet. So I'm gonna do that. Suboptimal is way more fun. Yeah, I like to do things my way because I like to have fun. I'm not I'm not someone who's going to sweat it. Like, and maybe this is hard because I'm been trying to figure out the YouTube meta. You know, I've already accepted that it's probably going to be a while before I even maybe it'll probably even be a year before I even get to 1K subscribers, if I'm being perfectly honest. And there's going to be moments where my growth is going to slow down, and also trying to figure out the algorithm. Trying to figure out the algorithm, I've been following a few creators. I've been listening to Pippa's advice, particularly. She had good advice. Apparently YouTube just changed the algorithm that it may actually work in my favor. The problem is I don't really know how any of this. Oh, whoops, sorry, hold on. Not ready for that just yet. I don't really I don't really understand how YouTube kind of works with all its algorithms. It's easy to blame. It's easy to blame other. It's easy to blame exterior factors, and be it's someone else's fault. I wonder why my shorts are dead in the water. It might be. I don't know. Can I link in chat? Yes, you may. I trust you guys. Maybe when I get bigger, that might not be a thing we do anymore. I don't know. But yeah, it's been good seeing your shorts all so far. So good. Well, it's been interesting because my own shorts that I've been uploading, because I thought shorts was the meta to help me grow, but they've been they've also just been kind of dead in the water, and I'm not entirely sure again what the meta is supposed to be. Again, I'm just kind of, I don't know. Apparently YouTube has changed where it's now they're evaluating all of your videos, and it's not so much about your subscriber count anymore. It's based on an individual video criteria or something. And listen, I'm someone who knows a lot about, esoteric nonsense. Well, I guess it's not nonsense. Well, it can be. And I don't really fully understand the YouTube algorithm. Now, granted, I don't know if anyone does, so I'm just trying to figure out what I'm doing, because apparently YouTube is it wants to show my content to different people, or it's trying to find my audience, so to speak. And also apparently YouTube might have throttled my reach based on the fact that I post certain stuff on apparently posting on, are they trying to zero in on the CCV for the algorithm? I have no idea. I genuinely don't. Genuinely, I have no idea if. And then again, there goes my train of thought again. Why does this keep happening? No, I know why it keeps happening, because I'm trying to think on several different things at once. Very stream of consciousness. No, what? And I still lost it. I've still lost it. One of these days I'll get sharper. Maybe not, probably not, but Give me a second. I'm trying to reboot my brain. Yes. Why you were getting throttled? Here's the thing. I don't know if I'm getting throttled or not. I don't. I mean, I could be getting throttled. Oh no. Wait, yes, I am getting throttled. Or I thought I was getting throttled based on something I learned that apparently, if you like, both Twitter and YouTube have a problem where if you're like doing exterior sources, like you link to off-site, apparently both of them don't like that and will like throttle your reach. If my sources that I've learned from are to be believed. That's why you've been seeing me like post my links in the replies. I've actually been needing to tell Oswald, my clipper, that my fan clipper, so it can help him and he can get more links to his, because he's been doing a really good job clipping me, and he's also not been getting as much views, which to be fair I don't have. So only link to YouTube within YouTube. Yeah, but you have to find workarounds. It's weird, but it's like also apparently YouTube, like I had more subscribers at one point that got unsubscribed. I think they might have resubscribed because apparently if you get too many subscribers in a certain time period, YouTube takes that as, like, I guess if you don't even have like a whole bunch of content on your channel, YouTube takes that as a sign that, uh-oh, you might be botting or something. Because apparently that happened. Like, I tried to been uploading shorts on TikTok, and apparently I was like, wait, why is everything getting 0 views? Like, I was expecting not to get a lot of views, but everything's getting 0. And apparently if you're new and you don't do any interaction on TikTok, you don't, like, TikTok's not going to show anything. Like, this is all just to help my reach in a little bit. But yeah, I'm learning all these different things, like different, all this different stuff that I'm, I'm taking it with a grain of salt. It might be true, it might not, or it might be, certain parts might be true. Yeah, botters ruin it for real people. Yeah, it's more of the struggles with the so-called content creation. But it's me just figuring out how all of this works, so to speak. Also, I'm just not entirely sure if I trust, like, the numbers that I'm getting. Not necessarily the number of subscribers, because I check StreamElements for that, but, like, the views on my certain number of my videos just go, like, sometimes they go down and then they go up. So I'm not entirely sure how that is working, I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure what's going on. Apparently Disson told me that, like, there's a delay in everything. So I feel bad. I feel kind of bad because I don't usually want to talk about, like, the behind the scenes of growing stuff, because I don't want to make it seem like that, like I've never wanted to be someone who's so numbers focused, I guess, you know what I mean? Like I said, I'm kind of low maintenance in that regard, but problem is I'm trying to grow off of this, and I sort of have to at least pay attention to some regard. Yeah, usually 1 day delay. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, because, like, one of the short, like, my first 3 shorts have all been doing, like, have all gotten, one's almost at 2,000 views. The rest have been, like, now my most recent ones have been struggling to get to, like, 100 views. And I'm not sure what I did any differently, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not, I mean, one is more in, like, I guess, because then YouTube just, like, I mean, it's Zatsu, and it's, when does it not talk about this anyways? It's fun. Yeah, fair enough. But, like, I'm just trying to understand the YouTube algorithm, and apparently they just changed it. But yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how to, grow my audience, grow grow this channel, grow my domain, expand the domain of Gore's Lab, and grow my demongrel horde. At least last three hit, one hit 260 pain, and there was a new wine too. Yeah, I don't get it. I feel like I don't know, because apparently YouTube is also like, I think that it's because they were also trying to get rid of a bunch of AI stuff, and I wonder if maybe like now, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe if it's like we're getting a bunch of false flags. I don't try to really understand what goes beyond at YouTube HQ, or how they do things, or even if there's like a human being even handling in this anymore. So, but that's YouTube. That's YouTube troubles, you know. That's just YouTube troubles. It's annoying, but I will persist. You know, people have been giving me good feedback. I've been getting, you know, a bunch of regulars. You know, people are watching. We are hopefully getting new. We are getting new demongrels. Hopefully, I don't know. But even if I don't, I'm still, even if this ends up just being a hobby for your Dark Lord, for the Dark Lord Demonstrous, I will happily do that. Because guess what? I have been enjoying this, as I've said on the Twitter.coms. I have been enjoying this. And the people who have been showing up have given me great feedback. They've given me great support. I just want to actually like get monetized or get to 500 or 1K subscribers so I can actually like, you know, have you guys use the emotes I got commissioned, and, you know, a bunch of other fun stuff like being able to actually, you know, raid people. It would be nice. Like, it's not even, at this point, it's not even about like getting money from like super chats. It's actually just having more features to play around with, if you know what I mean. Sorry, Rocky is, I don't know if you could hear him in the background. Rocky is a little angry. He's a little, good way to look at it. It's fine to care about the numbers, but the core should be at least mainly that it's still fun to do, even if the numbers don't come. It took me a while to start making more than 10 views. Keep at it, you'll eventually succeed. I mean, listen, I'm getting like over 100 views on even my VODs, which, again, like I said, I'm not like disappointed. I'm actually very happy with results given my size and given where I've started and everything, right? I'm just trying to figure out like, how do I like, okay, how do I keep up this momentum? You know, it's all about keeping up this momentum and like figuring out where, like, what I can control and what I can do to improve, you know, so I can actually get to 1,000 subscribers, you know? Or if YouTube's even, well, I'm not gonna move to another platform just because YouTube is having hiccups, because I don't really want to deal with Twitch. I might do, like I said, might do Kick later on, but yeah. But again, yeah, I've already accepted that this is going to be, you know, this is going to be a long haul project. This is going to be a long haul project. And I really just have to keep chipping at it. I just got to keep going. I just got to keep going. This Dark Lord ain't giving up. Dark Lord of Gore Slab is not giving up. Well, growth really depends on the algorithm. Sometimes you're lucky and sometimes you're not. Yeah. And to be fair, sometimes videos, like, they don't take off immediately. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer for them to, like, the videos don't, you know, immediately get numbers. Sometimes it takes a while. Like, here's an interesting thing. I made a post on Twitter today just responding to a clip from The Mummy, right? I'm sure everyone saw that post. And it was just me like giving my thoughts on that scene and what it and like how it expanded, or like giving expanded thoughts on that scene, and like showing that besides it being a good joke, like there was actually, you know, sort of more interesting things that you could divulge from it. And suddenly it went from being like, you know, a couple people agreeing with me, you know, like a couple people liking it, you know, familiar faces all giving it a like. And then now looking at it now, let me see, looking at it now, it's got like it's broken containment. It is now at 47k likes, 300 retweets, 342k views, and a lot of people like agreeing with me, but then a lot of people like, you know, a lot of people, like people outside my way outside my space, like all commenting on it. Some people even telling me that I am stupid because I am explaining the point. Because I just like gave my thoughts, and people are like, well, yeah, duh, it's obvious, idiot. What do you like? You're explaining the joke, you're explaining the thing. It's like, okay. I just was like, listen, I'm just like, yeah. It was the mummy tweet, yeah, like the mummy tweet, yeah, like people like I had one guy from Brazil, like I think he's from Brazil, like saying, yeah, you're obvious. Stop. You don't need to make this long drawn out post explaining it. You know, it's like, oh, okay. I haven't even responded to it. And then I'm getting a whole bunch of different opinions, which is fine, by the way. I'm just like, I didn't expect that to take off like it did, I suppose. I've made a few of those tweets where it's like, I'm just giving my personal thoughts on the matter. I don't even really expect it to break containment. And then all of a sudden, it breaks containment. You know, it's crazy. Apparently, I don't mind those people, they'll be gone. Yeah, and to be honest, I'm not like super bothered by that. I just find it fascinating. Is there a weekly posting schedule you want to establish? Have a Monster Monday where you want to post about some famous monster or something? I was thinking about doing like a monster movie Monday. And again, a lot of that like monster movie Monday nights, but again, I know she basically gets mentioned every stream, and I'm trying to minimize talking about her, not because I don't want to talk about her, but also because, you know, don't want that to be the entire focus of my stream. But like most of the times when I'm streaming, I try to make sure that I'm not streaming when Dizzy is streaming, because there's a lot of overlap between, I mean, people who watch me also watch Dizzy, and I just want to also watch Dizzy. Like, I want to watch my Oshi stream. And so trying to do a Monster Monday movie night when she generally streams around 7. I mean, it would be a Monster movie Monday. I could do like a matinee, which could be fun. But I'd also need to figure out like what I can actually like show on stream. Like what is like, because I know I don't want to get like copyright struck, especially at a very small channel. But like I was thinking, first movie I did was watch Gorgo, because I haven't seen Gorgo. And for anyone who doesn't know what Gorgo is, a demonstrous matinee, a monster movie Monday matinee would be really, really fun. I want to do that and just talk about it. I got the odd tweet that broke containment. The most random tweet I said, why does Twitter unlike tweets I've liked? Yeah, I noticed that too, and I even liked that one, and I was very confused. Do as all VTubers do, watch alongs. Yeah, and I think mine would just be monster movie focused. I just need to, like I said, I just would need to figure out what monster movies and what I can like actually stream and, you know, try to show on stream. You know, And also, I think I will make a Discord. It's also just trying to figure out how to get a server. Just put a timer in the filming you're watching. I think YouTube has a library of movies you can watch that are public domain. I think Gorgo is public domain. But I would like to watch some public domain movies. But speaking of, I was going to do some React Slappa. So let's get to some React Slappa. And to be fair, the reason I don't even like saying the word slop because I feel like it's just become overused. You know, it's kind of like, I feel like it's become the new cringe where like we all just, where, you know, before it was, you know, everything bad was sort of cringe. Now everything bad is slop, and who knows what the next word will be. Next word will be like, I'm not an augur, I'm not a revelator. I'm not sure what the word would be. A good prediction. All the Hammer horror classics should be safe to stream. Yeah, they should, and I'd hope so. Slop at this point is just thing. I still find it fun. Yeah, but if you think about it, slop was basically like mass consumption sort of deal. For some reason that tweet got 135k likes, which sucks because I wanted my first to be a good meme or a VTuber tweet, or one of your insect tweets, one of your arthropod tweets. Actually, no, not arthropods. Entomology. Like I said, words are hard and often they escape me. Yeah, it's just a casual insult to put anything in regardless of quality. Like they can only communicate in rage bait. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, that's always been a thing on the internet. You've been on the internet long enough. It's just a trend on the internet. It just changed. Before there was Wojaks, there was like rage. There was rage face. There was, I mean, trollface never truly died. Trollface never truly died. It continued on, and I'm surprised Wojaks have kind of survived as long as they have. But before there was, you know, there was rage face. Before that, there was there was that one smiley face with the rolling eyes. Like it's the more things change, the more they stay the same, so to speak. Anyways, I was gonna do some React Slappa. Tweets are fire and forget, you just launch them and then move on to the next one. Yeah, but like, I also kind of use it to, you know, build my community, so to speak. It's weird because I kind of do both, where it's just like, I just want to talk about whatever, you know? Where I just want to give out my thoughts. And then the other ones are me, you know, urine posting for you-know-who. And then sometimes I do art. And then the rest are me trying to actually build my community. I'm not really focused on my X or my Twitter. I just kind of do whatever I want, which, to be fair, I'm the Dark Lord of Gorslab. I can do that. I have that capability. That is my right. But yeah, they're not really focused. I remember that one classmate bringing a Trollface shirt back in 2008. Yeah, listen, like I said, I am a millennial. I'm a monstrous millennial. I've been on the internet since it was dial-up, and I know John is even older than that. But I've been on the internet when dial-up was still a thing. When you heard the sweet dial-up noises. Actually, you know what? Before we even watch the other Slappa video, I'm gonna do a little thingy bop here. So I'm feeling nostalgic. I'm feeling very, very nostalgic. Give me just a sweet moment. Oh, hey, Jelly is live. But let me see. I'm feeling nostalgic, so dial-up sound. Yeah, we're listening to dial-up. This will be my ASMR. Speaking of ASMR, I know I said I wouldn't do it, right? I know I said I would not do ASMR. I asked, people said I could do, like, I have the voice for it, even with my monstrous magic filter, making my voice just a smidgen deeper, giving a little more flang. But I'm gonna give it a shot. I don't know if it'll be my regular content, but I know there's a market for it, and I'm just going to dip my toes and see see if it's something I'm good at, like, see if it's something people actually like. It's also the same with sort of doing the React stuff. I'm just trying to figure out what people like to help grow. You know, I'm trying to find my audience. I'm trying to grow the Mongrel horde, and however I can do that, I will try. But I also don't want to be, I don't want to be dishonest in it. If I'm going to actually do it, I want to be like, I don't want to just be like a tourist. Like serious ASMR or S-Post. Serious, and I don't think I'll be doing any sultry ASMR. I'll try serious, but I'll also try like, I'll also try funky. Like I might do like a Funky Kong style. Wait, you guys know about the Funky Kong ASMR? You guys know about the Funky Kong ASMR, right? Please tell me you all know about that. I'm waiting. If not, I have something to show. I have something to show. Okay. I'll put the dial-up internet. I was gonna pull up the dial-up. I was gonna put the dial-up internet aside. I was gonna put it up, but now I found something else that I want to put up first. All right, here we go. Here we go. Yes. 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 Let me just move myself down to the corner here in the throat. And make sure the audio is actually working. Okay, good. What are we reacting to today? Well, we were going to do the Pepsi fleet, and we still are going to do that. But first, I'm going to show you my Demongrel's a true classic ASMR. And you should all send this to EB. Not this clip, but like specifically this video. Anyways.
Hey dude, how's it hanging? Bodacious. So how was your trip? Whoa, sounds like you really had a smoking time. You know, I know that your life can be a bummer sometimes, and you have to deal with major dweebs at work. So I'm glad that you could get out and take a sweet vacay. It's nice to get away from all that bogusness sometimes.
It really is funky. It really is.
Thanks, I love you too.
Oh. Excuse me, Funky.
Well, hombre, you ready to get this show on the road?
Yeah, let's do it, Funky. Let's do it.
Slamming.
You're uncomfortable? Good.
Let's crank up some major tunage.
Yeah, let's do it, Funky. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hoo-ah.
Hoo-ah.
Hoo-hoo-ha.
Hoo-ah-wah.
Roo-how-ha.
Roo-how-ha. That's right, Funky.
Woo-wah.
Woo-wah.
Yeah-yeah-yeah-yeah-yeah-ha.
Yeah-wah-wah-wah-yeah-ha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Roo-hoo.
Roo-hoo. That's right. How you feeling at the Mongrels? You feeling sleepy? You feeling relaxed at ease? Because that's what Funky Kong is here to do. We riding with Funky. We riding with Funky. That's right. We're riding with Funky. We're over here riding with Funky.
Blah, blah,
No blah 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 blah.
Creow.
Creow.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Whoa 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 whoa.
Gra.
Gra. Gra. Gra. Gra. Yeah. This is disgusting. No, this is classic. This is what real men ASMR to.
Dusha.
Dusha. A wah 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 wah.
Oh, lo, 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 lay.
A lo 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 le le lula lula. Lolly le lulo.
Diashaz.
She says. Subjecting your own demongrels to this, you are truly demonstrous. You all earned it after everything, after... You wanted me to be more cruel, to be more arrogant. And now I'm showing you the classics. Now you are being subject to this for all your bullying of me. But it's not really even bullying. This is classic. This is classical art.
Chagegiga.
Chagiga, haha.
Hey.
Yeah?
Ngo.
No.
Dilia.
Delia, haha.
Nga.
Nga.
Durilio.
Do really oh ho wow. Oh, I'm gonna drink some water now.
Yes, I have.
Your demonstrous power is growing. Yes, it is, isn't it?
Yay.
I just grew right there after drinking some water.
Oh, lo, 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 lay.
A low, 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 low way. Oh,
Who run, baby?
who wrong, baby? Whoa, ho, 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 ho.
Ha, 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 hey,
Hey, hey,
You, hoo, nyawr.
Ooh, yawa.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw.
Ruhu hum.
Ruhu hum.
Yeah, yeah, oh.
Aren't you relaxed, demongrels? Aren't you relaxed? Aren't you calm? Aren't you at ease?
Yeah, 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 oh,
Because I am. I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling relaxed like a baby in the crib.
Oh, lo, 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 lay.
Wolo lo lo wolo way. That was a good time, Funky. I appreciate it.
Well, Dudeski,
Yeah?
I guess we're finally here.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
always a jam to kick it with you too, my main monkey.
I know. I know. I feel it, man. I feel it.
Remember to drink plenty of fluids.
Oh, yeah. I got it.
Stay loose, bro.
You stay loose too, my main monkey. Yeah. Yeah. So what did you think, the mongrels? What did you think? Anyways, let's listen to some other ASMR, which is dial-up internet. Yes, yes, dial-up internet. Dial-up sounds. Yes. Also, I seem to have dropped viewers from that. They were weak anyway. They lacked weak. They were weak. They were weak. I was about to say they lacked weakness, but no, they didn't lack weakness. They were simply weak. Anyways, let's listen to some dial-up sounds. Hold on. Whoops, hold on. Oh, whoops, hold on. Let me move some stuff around here. I'm still here, baby, don't worry. I can always count on you, Tail, mostly. The banana is unclean? What do you mean the banana is unclean? I only eat clean bananas. I don't eat bananas with the brown spots. I like my bananas like I like my women. Yellow. And full of potassium. That just actually makes it sound like I like women with jaundice. I was born with jaundice, actually, interestingly enough. Anyways, let's go back to the, let's go back to, go back to this. Yeah. This is some fine ASMR that would make EB proud. He might. Funny on the other hand. Funky on the other hand. It's like I'm a young demonstrous again. A little demonsterling, a little dark. Wait. ASMR. I was being like, I was joking. There's genuinely like dial-up ASMR. I was kidding. I was making a joke. I was making the ha-has. I was making the funny. But apparently it's real. The dial-up ASMR is real. Oh, well. You know what I have to say to all that? You know what I have to say for all that? Since we're going to be moving on to, you know, a more stimulating topics, this is what I have to say.
And now, our feature presentation.
Oh, hey, look. Lacey is streaming. I mean, Jelly is already streaming. And Leah is streaming. Anyways. Let's do this Pepsi fleet that John recommended. And Corn, if you're still here, you are free to recommend your own videos. Pepsi fleets, Fat Electrician. All right. Let's take a look and see what this is all about. Let's learn some history. All right, let's take a look at this. Indeed. Oops, hold on. Sorry, I'd just like to have the full thing.
For a brief period of time, Pepsi had the 6th largest navy in the world. No, it didn't. Today we're talking about the famous internet meme that has been sent to me at least 10,000 times that during the Cold War, Pepsi traded a bunch of soda to the Soviet Union. In exchange, the Soviet Union paid with naval warships, and for a brief period of time, Pepsi supposedly had the 6th largest navy on the planet.
I don't believe you!
The 6th?
Now, to be completely honest, a couple of years ago when I first had this meme sent to me, I immediately started looking into it, and I was like, this is going to be a Fat Electrician video because this is right up my alley. This is my whole thing. And it took me about an hour to come to the unfortunate, heartbreaking conclusion that the meme was basically over-exaggerated nonsense, so I never made the video.
Oh, bummer.
But then last week on this channel, Fat Files, we busted the internet myth or the internet meme that mattress stores are just a giant front for laundering money, and I had so much fun, I decided I'd do it again.
Wait, hold on. That's a thing? Wait, is the whole joke about, like, Mr. Krabs storing his money in his laundry? Also, I realized I just had my BGM still on. Was that? No, it couldn't have been that like Mr. Krabs putting his money in his mattress was a reference to the money laundering that mattress stores do. Surely not. Right? Surely not. It must have been before that. It must have been before that. Was the furniture child trafficking thing true? Oh, that's a whole nother rabbit hole. That's a whole nother rabbit hole, Dissin. Anyways, let's get back to it.
Immediately came to mind. So I went back and I started researching again, and what I found out is that there is a small nugget of truth inside of this meme, but the meme as a whole is actually a small nugget inside of a much larger story. And that story is an epic saga of how an American soda company undermined the Soviet Union, one of the leading powers in the world, literally for decades, culminating in their grand finale of creating the funniest, most demoralizing commercial of all time. And we're gonna—
That's kind of based, actually. Kind of based. I'm gonna give it to PepsiCo. It's kind of based. Keeping your own money, keeping your money under your own mattress is its own thing. Yeah, but wouldn't it also be kind of funny if it was a reference to— no, not really. American dominance. Mostly because I don't like communists. But yes, anyways.
Get into it right after a word from our sponsor. This video is brought to you by Supremacy World War III, a free PvP online strategy-based game where you can
I was
play
wondering
against
if
99 other people. You get to pick any country
I
you
was
want and
wondering
then
if
set
this was
upon
going
your
to be like
mission
a
of
War
world
Thunder
domination.
ad.
Okay, personally, I'm picking the United States every single time because,
Because
well,
I got,
to be honest with
you
you,
know,
I enjoy winning.
how many
And then
War
the
Thunder
funnest part
players
is
do I got
deciding
in my
who to attack
chats?
first.
Because I don't
like
play
to base all
War
my stuff
Thunder,
off
but
of current events.
there's a
Last
lot
month
of
I was
you.
attacking Iran first. This month I'm attacking Greenland first, and then I get to watch Germany get confused and invade Poland for no fucking reason. And they just came out with the officers update where you can unlock war legends that add buffs to all of your other units. So
Germany, I mean, no reason. I'm pretty sure, like, Poland and Germany have had, like beef for who knows how long. Like it's Europe. The beef between the countries is, like, historical. Like they won't do anything for no reason. They'll find the most petty of reasons. Among the more complicated of reasons, they'll go to war over the most petty of reasons. Because that's what Europe does, because Europe is full of petty people. No, that's not true. Europe is full of petty government officials. And them being people is dubious at best. Let's just say that. I mean, I guess Europe can also be full of petty people who aren't in government. Because there's petty people everywhere. It's just that in Europe, I imagine most of them are in government. Oh, whoops, hold on. Whoops, whoop, whoop.
and ended. America is now practicing.
Whoops, hold on. Bureaucrats, yes. Bureaucrats.
Because obviously the communist.
Okay, hold on. Whoops.
America is now practicing containment doctrine.
This is already a great React video.
A vow to prevent the further spread of communism. And that goal has gotten extremely more difficult and complicated because now the Soviet Union has acquired nuclear weapons thanks to atomic spies like Klaus Fuchs and the Rosenbergs. Because obviously the communists couldn't figure out how to make a nuclear warhead on their own because, well, communists can't really figure out how to do anything on their own. All they can ever do is steal intellectual property and then make cheap knockoffs and sell them on Wish.com. With the exception of the AK. The AK is pretty dope. I'll give them that. But that's one thing, okay? And it took an American to make it in 50 caliber, okay?
Hey, shout out to Brendan Herrera.
You're goddamn right.
The world has essentially split down the middle. You have America and NATO on one side and the USSR and the Warsaw Pact on the other side. The world is divided. The Cold War is at its peak and we are at the height of McCarthyism with the Red Scare. America is terrified of going to nuclear war and the communists coming together. But also Stalin died recently, so everybody's just kind of like, what if we didn't go to nuclear war and blow up the entire planet? I mean, that'd be kind of cool, right? Maybe we should try to get along. So in 1959, in an effort to make that happen, America and the
AK and
USSR
Tetris. Oh, true. Tetris did come from the USSR.
Exchange. Basically, it was like an agreement to have a...
Well, to be fair, I will give the Soviets also this credit. I mean, I would say this in spite of communism, not because of it. Didn't the AK-47 need a total redesign to make it viable? I don't know, actually. I think maybe so, but like, I'll give the Soviets credit. They at least had really good animators. They had some pretty good animators, but I would say that's in spite of communism, not because of it. Same with like some of their engineers' their engineers too. You know this is a great React video. I'm doing a React video and I'm interrupting myself. The PKM, on the other hand, it was pretty good. Yeah, I would say so too. I'm trying to think because I mean, if we're giving credit where credit is due, right? I would say, what else did like? But I said it in spite of the Soviets, not because of the Soviets. But like, I mean, they had some really good animation, at least animated shorts. So, yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure that one treasure island, the Russian treasure island, that everyone puts Fonk edits over with Dr. Livesey. I believe it was Dr. Livesey, right? Some good filmmakers too. Sergei Eisenstein and Alexander Nevsky. Yeah, they had some good filmmakers. They had good and talented people in spite of communism and an awful system of governance. Starvation, yeah, but come on, that's baked into communism. And the battleship Potemkin, yeah, true.
Trade show. Basically, like the Soviets were going to grab a bunch of their communist-made bullshit. They were going to bring it over to America, set up a trade show, and show it off to a bunch of Americans, and vice versa. America was going to grab a bunch of their awesome shit that capitalism made. They're going to take it over to the USSR, and they were going to show it off to all the communists. So when America sets up their trade show, they're bringing over all their best shit. They're putting their best foot forward. They're bringing over the best American cars. The Soviets are over here. They're used to seeing the Volga, the most popular car in the Soviet Union.
To be fair, I don't think that's a bad car. I like it. I think it's a nice looking car. It's kind of classy. But it has character. It was probably a lemon, probably a gremlin. Humor is like food. Not everyone gets it. Everyone's favorite style. I mean, true. Wait, this is in China. This isn't Russia, but this is, China and Russia in that was, probably connected in that regard, being both communist, even though I don't think China, the People's Republic of China, was ever in the Soviet Union. But I mean, if I'm being perfectly honest, this just seems like a nice car. I mean, it's no Tucker car. If any of you guys are familiar with a Tucker car, I want one of those, but those are like super rare. I think they're like super rare collector's items if they even are around anymore, if they haven't all been sold off. They don't really like each other. I mean, yeah, but that's geopolitics, and also communists don't really like each other. More so than most political groups, even within the same ideological framework. And I don't really like talking too much about politics, but I mean, we're already talking about communist, but that's the thing, is that's also an economic system. And I'm talking more economics. Well, no, I guess I'm not talking economics. Let's just keep watching the video.
In 1959, which, to be completely honest, I thought was part of the female reproductive system until right now.
Hold on.
Until right now.
Can anyone among you who have had the sex with a woman confirm or deny that she has a car at the entrance of her hoo-ha? Because this is monstrous and papa monstrous. I can't even say my own parents' name right. When they were teaching me about the birds and the bees, they didn't tell me about this, about the car, the Volga. The Volga. Is this something I have to prepare for when I get married and on my honeymoon? Do I need to be? Maybe I needed to learn about the BMWs and the Beamers. I can't deny it, my lord. I can deny it, my lord. What do you mean? What do you mean you can deny it? What do you mean? What do you mean you can deny it? Let's just keep going.
now.
It's not some Toyota clitoris. No.
No. And then we've got America.
Wait, what? Wait. Toyota clitoris. Oh, dang, that's a hot rod. How many of these I just said hot rod back. And normally saying hot rod wouldn't be a problem, right? But after saying clitoris and then hot rod, yeah, it feels wrong. It feels, yeah.
America showing up with the 1959 Chevy Impala, which is gorgeous and objectively better in every single way.
I mean, yeah, but like, I'll give the Volga credit. The Impala looks way cooler, but I mean, I'll give the Volga credit. It's a simple, sometimes simple is better in this regard. I don't think this is a bad looking car at all. It's just, I mean, yeah, compared to the Impala, it's got more flair. To freaky. I'm not that to freaky.
No. And then we've got America showing up with the 1959 Chevy Impala, which is gorgeous and objectively better in every single way. The Soviets are used to brutalist architecture.
No, I agree with him on this. I hate brutalist architecture. I loathe brutalist architecture. It is off. Oh gosh, I keep forgetting that. Being that. No, brutalist architecture is genuinely, ugh. It is like the most depressing architecture in the world. Like we can all make fun of modern architecture or even silly architecture, but my goodness, is brutalism just, it is like the most soulless. Like if you want to capture soulless, don't like gray rectangles, you can do gray rectangles in a more interesting way. It has its place in jail, but it has a place. I mean, I suppose it has a place. Yeah, I guess in jail, but like, yeah. But concrete cubes, so cheap. No, I hate. Natsukaze, welcome. I'm just lamenting brutalism at the moment. No, I loathe brutalism as an architecture trend overall. I mean, it has its place, especially if you want to make a boring looking, not even boring, because, I mean, it is boring, but not really. Like, it's boring, but it's also not. It's more of like, it is like the most oppressive architecture in the world. Brutalism. Yeah, brutalism sucks. It has a place in certain regards. I mean, if you want to make the most dystopian looking architecture in the world, like brutalism is that. You could say, oh, what about Gothic structures or like any other like dark pointy structures? Like look at my throne room over here. Like my throne room, This isn't brutalist though. This is monstrous. Okay? This is monstrous architecture. Because we have design sense. And because, dark has style. Dark has grit. I suppose brutalism has grit, but it's the most ugly looking grit. It doesn't serve any function. Yeah, the architecture makes everyone feel like hope is dead. My architecture inspires fantasy, inspires epics, inspires adventure and dungeons and deep dark secrets. Brutalism is just, I think the only thing that can compete with brutalism is like modern fast food chains, which are already kind of inspired by brutalism.
America, and we're going to bring it over to the USSR and show it off, and then we're going to cut it in half and split it open so everybody can get a nice big view of how awesome our houses are. And because we split the house in half, we're going to call it Splitnik. Get it?
Let me go back a little bit.
Cool. We're going to grab a house from better in every single way.
Let me go
the
back to
Soviets
this.
are used to brutalist architecture, the ugliest, most disgusting, soulless architecture mankind has ever come up with. Cool. We're gonna grab a house from a suburban neighborhood in America and we're gonna bring it over to the USSR and show it off. And then we're gonna cut it in half and split it open so everybody can get a nice big view of how awesome our houses are. And because we split the house in half, we're gonna call it Splitnik. Get it? Sputnik, Splitnik. That's fucking funny. And then obviously we're gonna bring over a ton of different food, which is something the commies don't know anything about at all.
Bangarang!
And one of the food vendors that we brought over was Pepsi. And I know what you're thinking, why would we bring Pepsi? Why didn't they bring Coke? Well, from what I was able to find, they tried to bring Coke first, but Coke declined because they didn't want to associate with commies, which based. Didn't know I could like Coke any more than I already do, but here we are. So Pepsi shows up and Pepsi is like, okay, this is a great opportunity. Maybe we can pierce the Iron Curtain. We can get into the USSR and
I was going to make a Pepsi Man joke, but this is before Pepsi Man. But what if Pepsi went back in time with Pepsi Man and then introduced it to the Soviet Union? Hi, Demon, how are you? And how are you and all? I'm good. I'm just watching and reacting to the Fat Electrician talk about the Pepsi fleet. And then giving commentary. Soviet depression sure is a vibe. It is a vibe, which if you look at like a lot of their animation from the time, like the Treasure Island that I mentioned, it was like a stark contrast. It was full of character. It was full of like, it was full of exaggeration. It was full of energy and pizzazz. And I was going to say zestiness, but that means something completely different nowadays. And then you look at the architecture and suddenly, like, you know, the risk of suicide increases significantly. You're labbing in Street Fighter, understandable.
Open up this new market that no American company has access to, and we could become the official beverage of the USSR, and we'll make billions and billions of dollars. It's a brilliant plan. I mean, maybe.
Wait a minute, didn't during this, the whole Russia-Ukraine thing, didn't like McDonald's pull out of, or was it McDonald's or different fast food chains where they pulled out of like of Russia? And then Russia like still had those like properties and everything. And so like a bunch of people just moved in and they just like commandeered the old architecture and instead of McDonald's, it was like, they just changed it to something else to save time. McDonald's just pulled the franchise licenses. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Regardless of your thoughts on the Russia-Ukraine war, which is a whole complicated morass, I think there was also sort of a kind of an overreaction because I remember there was a cat show where they weren't allowed to show, where there was like, you couldn't have Russian blue cats anymore in like a cat show. And it's like, just because the cat came from Russia, the Russian blue, like that's a bit of an overreaction, don't you think? Like, you can disapprove of Putin and in you know, Putin and Russia invading Ukraine. Sure, I certainly don't think it was a good idea, to clarify. But like, who does that help? Like, legitimately, who does that help? Russian blue, not Prussian blue, Russian blue. Russian blue cats. To be fair, I know far more about dog breeds than cat breeds. Yeah, go after cats and streamers was way too far. Yeah, that's the thing, is they were going after cats and just regular, like, people and streamers. Like, again, I get it. And that's why I said this whole thing is, like, kind of complicated. Again, I'm not, to clarify, if I have to clarify my position, I'm not saying that Russia should have invaded Ukraine. I'm not for that. If anything, I do want peace in the region, and I hope that, you know, comes sooner rather than later. But, you know, because I don't want to get sucked into the geopolitical mire. But it just seems stupid to blame completely unaffiliated people and pulling out like franchises. And I get it to an extent, but again, the whole thing with like going after streamers and cats, like, who does that actually help? Hot take: war is not so good. No, it is not very good. I don't listen. Just because I want to grow my horde of mongrels doesn't mean I want to wage war. Mostly. Thankfully, I'm no longer at war at Kanakalumi, speaking of Russians. Well, I keep forgetting, Sorry. Yeah, war is awful. War is awful. And I feel like me even like commenting on it is just kind of wading into that, you know, wading into those marshes. That mire. Blah.
Okay, this is a great opportunity. Maybe we can pierce the Iron Curtain. We can get into the USSR and open up this new market that no American company has access to. Maybe. I find it hard to believe that becoming the official soda of the USSR would be a good plan, but I mean, we'll see what happens.
They've done studies, you know.
I don't blame Russia or Ukraine. I blame the oligarchs who goaded them into conflict for their own ends. Yeah. I mean, if we're going to be honest, most wars, a lot of wars are not waged by the, you know, individual citizens. There's a lot of backroom dealings and a lot of people up top who are looking to, you know, expand their power one way or another. I have some level of speaking. I have some level of expertise speaking of this as a Dark Lord. Although the stuff that goes on Earth with humanity, that there be crazy. That there be crazy. Anyways.
60% of the time, it works every time.
That doesn't make sense.
So Nikita Khrushchev shows up, Stalin's replacement, the head of the USSR. He's walking around this trade show and he's talking shit.
Wait. Is that Richard Nixon? Is that Richard Nixon? That's Richard Nixon, isn't it? So I realize it's kind of hard to talk politics when this is already kind of wrapped up in politics. Kind of sucks, but I mean, you know, nose matches. Yeah, the nose matches, the face shape, it's just kind of in 240p.
Entire time, right? He's looking at all of America's cool cars, all the food, the houses. He's looking at everything and he sees it as just one big psyop. Like, America can't be doing this well. They're clearly putting their best foot forward, trying to demoralize the Soviet people. So he's just going through the whole trade show, pretending to...
I mean, wouldn't the Soviets basically do the same thing though? Like, legitimately? I'm pretty sure they would have done the same thing. I'm pretty sure most countries would have done this. Dark Lords prefer magnificent conquest, having disdain for squalid quagmires. Yes, very true. That is very true. But like, it's kind of weird saying that, like, this is a psyop, but wouldn't the Soviets also do psyops? Because, like, legitimately, doesn't every country do it? I'm pretty sure every country does it, including the US. Oh, there's so many psyops. But I'm pretty sure, like, every country psyops, like saying, "Oh, this is just a psyop." Yeah, well, guess what? You're all psyoping each other. You're psyoping us. All governments basically just do a bunch of psyops. He thought it was a psyop because that is what the Soviets did. I mean, to be fair, yes, that's true. Confession through projection and all that. But like, the CIA also did psyops. The FBI does psyops. Like, I'm not going to give the US a pass, because of course they did. Of course my country is, I mean, I say my country because I am technically a US citizen, because there's a whole thing with Gorslav being tied to the US. Anyways, but of course, like, all the governments do psyops. I don't know of any government that doesn't do psyops, unless they don't have enough money, or yeah, some countries are more effective than others. Every country's going to do psyops of some kind. They're all psyops. They're all psyopers. I'm not going to, like I said, I'm not going to give the US a pass, because the FBI and CIA and all them, they do a bunch of crazy psyops. Even on their own people. Yeah, the CIA vampire story in the Philippines, yeah, that was crazy. If it's a government, it does psyops. Now, as your Dark Lord, do I do psyops? Let's just keep watching the video.
Be unimpressed, talking shit the entire time. And of course, he's walking around the trade show with America's highest ranked delegate there. Obviously, America's not going to send the president of the United States over to the Soviet Union because they just kidnap his ass, and they're not going to send
But didn't they? Wasn't that Nixon? I guess that was an unrelated video.
Nikita Khrushchev over to America, so they just send a high-ranking person, and that high-ranking person is the vice president at the time, Richard Nixon.
Oh, it was Richard Nixon,
Eventually,
okay.
Nixon gets tired of Khrushchev talking shit, and they get into a little bit of a heated debate, an argument, basically a shit-talking contest between the two of them in the kitchen inside of the demonstration house, and this is...
Okay, to be honest, this is probably the most honest that politicians have been, are being with each other. Like, that's how you know you're trying to, that's how you know that politicians are being honest, when they're actually having, like, they're actually openly talking trash to one another. At least in my opinion. Or this could also be an elaborate psyop. Trying to make believe that you don't cheat on. Nixon wasn't president yet. Okay, yeah. This was during the Eisenhower years, I believe John said. People that recoil in horror at psyops and deception have obviously never played a lot of poker. That's true. You have a fair point there, John.
Referred to as the kitchen debate. So they're having this little shit-talking contest in the middle of this kitchen, and the executive from Pepsi, Donald Kendall, sees his opportunity.
So I just want to look at this man for a second. Now, normally, I'm not one to insult another person's personal appearance, and I'm not even insulting him. I'm just looking at him, and he is there's something about his eyes, about his gaze, that is kind of captivating, along with his head shape. He screams Pepsi executive to me. Because he's a Pepsi executive, but he looks like a Pepsi executive from the 50s. Yeah, the eyebrows are crazy. 6-head. Yeah, he's got a big forehead. But he's also got a pretty chiseled jaw, and dang, he got some big ears. Like, he has very exaggerated features. He's got some, I mean, look at those eyebrows. Those are like Emperor Ming style, like, eyebrows. Was it Emperor Ming from Flash Gordon? Yeah, he's got some hypnotic gaze. He's got like looking at those eyes, kind of staring at you, like telling you to buy a Pepsi. I don't want to keep focusing on him now. Yeah, it was Ming the Merciless, wasn't it? That was Flash Gordon. Flash Gordon was also before my time, but like, again, you see commercials and reruns, and then you also, like, watch the Flash Gordon movie with a friend. That's the millennial experience.
He's got a plan. He's going to get a picture of Nikita Khrushchev drinking a Pepsi, and that picture is going to go viral. Then everybody in the USSR is going to want to drink it, and that's how they're going to break in and pierce that Iron Curtain, which is going to be way more difficult than it sounds, because remember, Nikita Khrushchev doesn't want to look impressed at anything. He wants everything to be shitty. So A, he's probably not going to sample any food.
That's also very, very communist.
And even if he did, he's definitely not going to give it a good review. But Donald Kendall's got a plan. He's going to show up right at the end of this heated debate with an ice-cold, refreshing beverage, and he's going to finesse a good review out of Nikita Khrushchev. How's he going to do it? He's going to...
I mean, he'll probably do it with his hypnotic gaze and, like, very exaggerated features. Just as we've seen.
Show up with 2 cups of Pepsi, one for Nikita Khrushchev and the other one also for Nikita Khrushchev. So when Donald Kendall rolls up with both of his Pepsis and gives both of them to Nikita Khrushchev, he's like, Mr. Khrushchev, I wanted you to try an ice cold refreshing Pepsi. This one is made with water from America, and this one we made since we got here with water from the USSR. Which one do you like more?
Was it heavy water? Was it heavy water? You can actually drink heavy water. There's an actually really good YouTube channel called Nile Red, where he actually drinks heavy water, which is like, it's H2O plus like deuterium, and apparently it tastes sweet. Like, you can drink a certain amount of it without deleterious effects.
Tasty.
Okay, do you understand what just happened? It's beautiful. Now, Nikita Khrushchev is backed into a corner because if he's going to give a bad review to Pepsi that's made with water from the great USSR, he's talking shit about his own home country. He can't do that. So he's forced to try them both and then say that the one from the USSR is fantastic. Gotcha, bitch. And then, of course, while he's taking a drink, they make sure to get pictures. We've got the before and...
So apparently the guy didn't just have like a hypnotic appearance. He was also a clever businessman.
And the after. Here's the before. Moments away. Seconds away from...
Holy crap. It's probably just the framing. Oh, bye, Tail. Thank you. Thank you. It might just be the framing, but is this is the same guy, right? The same Pepsi CEO? He's huge. Like, he's big. He's a big fella. But certainly this is probably just the angle, right? He's got big hands, too. Wow, he's got huge hands. This guy's huge. Hold on, let me do a quick analysis. I don't think it might just be the camera angle. I think this guy might be a genuine Nephilim or something, because he's got, like... He's huge. He's pale. He's giant. He's got this piercing gaze, even as he's looking at this Pepsi bottle. Like, unless the bottle is really small, but, like the cups also seem really small in his hands. I'm not going crazy, am I? Even Nixon seems perturbed. Even Nixon seems perturbed by this strange, pale giant who controls Pepsi. But certainly this is just the camera angle, right? This isn't like... This isn't, you know... Like, he's not that big, right? He might be a relative of the Monstrous family. You know, he could. I'm crazy? Yeah, I probably am crazy. Big hands. Huge hands, actually. Bigger than mine. And I have pretty big hands. Well, compared to most people. Relative to my body size, they're about average. Anyways.
Success. Look at Donald Kendall in his white pimp suit. That is a man who knows his plan is about to come together. And then we've got the after. Look at the smile on Nikita Khrushchev's face, tasting capitalism.
That is... Why does Nixon just look so... Nixon? Like, Khrushchev's just happy about this. Like, Nixon should be happy too, but no, he's just... Nixon is just stone-faced. Like, he's like the memes of the Moe head, you know, that all the people are posting now that are stone-faced. And it's just me. Does he have, like... It's got a weird jaw shape. Or is it just the camera? Like, is it just the camera? But like, look where... Like, is it just the quality of the camera? Because look at where his like, jaw ends. Like, it goes square and then it, like... curves into... Remember what Nixon was putting up with at home? That's true. And then Watergate happened and a whole bunch of other different stuff. But I think that was late. That was when he actually became president. Wait, wasn't that on his second term? Anyways, I need to refamiliarize myself with history.
For the first time, it's beautiful. These pictures go viral and Pepsi...
Nixon earned his money for law school while playing poker on his ship as a lieutenant in World War II. He was apparently... Okay, so he was always just poker-faced. Okay, got it,
the mythical drink of capitalism that can bring a tear to even a communist leader's eye. So now people in the USSR, they want to try Pepsi. They want to be able to drink it. But the problem is they can't really buy it because the Soviet Union uses the ruble, which isn't really recognized by anybody outside of the Soviet Union. So even if Pepsi did go in there and sell a bunch of Pepsi, they could only get paid in rubles, which aren't good anywhere else in the world, so the entire thing would be worthless. And before Pepsi and the USSR can figure out some kind of alternative deal, the Cold War ramps up a ton. The nuclear arms race is going on. Nobody's doing any business with the USSR. It's looking like we're going into nuclear war, so it's just...
And you get all those bomb shelter, like those, you know, kids hiding under their desks in case of a nuclear explosion, which wouldn't have helped anyone. They would have died regardless, but I mean, I guess it's better than, I don't know, you kind of really don't have a defense in a nuclear explosion. I guess atomic, would it be nuclear? I guess it'd still be nuclear. Atomic and nuclear are kind of synonyms for this point.
It's not going to happen. Okay, great. Fast forward like 13 years. Richard Nixon is now the president, and Donald Kendall is now the CEO of Pepsi. Richard Nixon is trying to de-escalate the entire Cold War. Basically, we've spent the last 20 years making as many nuclear bombs as possible and coming up with a bunch of ridiculous, creative ways to put them on our enemies' foreheads, and it's getting out of hand because now America and the USSR both have enough nukes to end the world 10 times over. So Nixon works out a deal with the USSR called SALT I, the Strategic Arms Limitation Talks, and basically it puts a cap on how many nukes each country can have and how many methods of deploying them they can have.
Do you think any of them would have really honored that if push comes to shove? If anything, it was more like an honor system thing, like, yeah.
Basically, we both have enough nukes to blow up the entire planet. Why are we making more? Let's just put a stop to this and accept the fact that either one of us could get pissed off and flip the entire board game over whenever we wanted. And this signals to American businesses and the rest of the world, really, that America is trying to work with the Soviet Union again. Cue the CEO of Pepsi, Donald Kendall, sauntering back into the equation. So he comes in, immediately starts trying to work a deal, right? This is an enormous untapped market. If he can get in there, he'll absolutely crush. He knows that. But the problem is, Soviet Union still has the ruble. It's still worthless everywhere outside of the Soviet Union.
Sir, this is just monopoly money.
So the Soviets literally...
I mean, you could argue that monopoly money might have been worth more than the ruble at that point. As it turns out, the only states that Russian nukes could reach during the Cuban Missile Crisis was Alaska and Maine. That's why the Cuba was such a huge deal. Now that makes sense. That makes sense. But Alaska is also huge. I mean, they could, but where would you want to, like? Obviously, wouldn't want them, hitting Alaska or Maine. But like, what is there strategically? Like Anchorage? Juneau? That's in Alaska and Maine. I don't even remember. I really need to brush up on my geography. US geography.
don't have any money to pay for the Pepsi with. So what do you do when you want something, but you don't have money? You trade. Okay, well, what do the Soviets have? Vodka. And obviously the Soviet Union isn't allowed to export and sell their vodka in the United States because the United States doesn't do business with the USSR because, you know, sanctions and whatnot, political nonsense. So obviously this plan of being allowed to sell Soviet vodka in the United States of America on Pepsi's behalf is a pretty tall ask for the US government. Luckily, Donald Kendall helped this politician campaign and win his office, and that politician's name is, let me check my notes, Richard Nixon, the fucking president.
Somebody's more important. Freddie, can you keep the riffraff out of here?
And now they're homies and have been since the 1950s.
Is this the same fellow, the same Donald Kendall that we've just been over with? No, it's him with his long ear. Like, holy crap, look how low his earlobes go. He do got some long ears. He's got a six head. Like, he has just some very pronounced features, this guy. And apparently he is quite tall. He's got like he's a big guy. It's not just the camera. I mean, it was also the camera angle, but like, this John Kendall fellow's real tall fella. He's got a winning smile with his crazy eyebrows. Wait, his eyebrows are a different color than his hair. So I need to just focus on the video.
59 trade show 13 years ago. So Donald Kendall goes over to his homeboy, the president, and is like, hey, if I give the Soviet Union a bunch of concentrated Pepsi syrup so they can bottle it over in the USSR and make soda, and they pay me with Russian vodka, can I turn around and sell that in the US marketplace and Pepsi keeps all the money? To which Richard Nixon and the rest of the American government...
So wait, wouldn't that mean that Pepsi would make vodka? And then the Soviets would just make their own, like, bootleg. I guess, is it bootleg? I mean, it's bootleg, isn't it? But then, no, but they're getting it from an official source. Nixon was only 6 feet tall. I thought he was taller. If he's 6 feet tall, then, like, this John Kendall guy must be at least, like, 6'5". Tall dude. Tall dude. Ears the long way, yeah.
And it's probably like, so let me get this straight. You want to be able to sell Russian vodka in the US marketplace, and that money is going to stay in the US marketplace. Pepsi is going to keep that money, and in exchange, you're going to give the Soviets diabetes. Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead. Boom, deal made. Pepsi goes on to become the first.
It's diabetes. I mean, diabetes has probably always been around, but like, was it that bad? Did Pepsi make it that bad?
American products sold inside the USSR, the first American company to pierce the Iron Curtain. Okay, and this is the mythical capitalist drink that they've been wanting for the past 10 years since the 1959 trade show. It becomes outrageously popular.
Wouldn't be bootleg since it was official Pepsi syrup. Yeah, that's true, but it's like, no, I'm thinking of this from like bootleg toys, because like most bootleg toys are actually made from like the official product line, like official product line in terms of like the official factories and stuff, right? I mean, yeah, soda has a ton of sugar in it. That's true. That's true. No, it probably isn't bootleg. I guess I'm just thinking about bootleg because, you know, Russia has some interesting bootlegs, but most of that is video games. But also, I guess I'm thinking about it because, again, going back to bootlegs for a moment, what was I saying? Yeah, no, so a lot of bootleg toys actually are basically their failed mold copies that come from like the factories where the official toys tend to be made, at least as far as my knowledge serves. That might be incorrect overall, but bootleg toys are sold out of the back without the permission. Okay, so yeah, no, fair enough. The bootleg toys are sold out the back without the permission of the IP holder. That's true. This explains how Smirnoff vodka got to the US. Okay, I'm a teetotaler, so I don't drink alcohol. So you guys probably know more about alcohol than me.
Popular. So that's the deal. Pepsi sells the Pepsi concentrate to the USSR. They take it to their own bottling plants. They make Pepsi. They sell it. They have the licensing to market it as Pepsi. In exchange, they get a bunch of Soviet-made vodka. They turn around. They sell it in the US. They make their money. Everybody's happy. The plan works. Right up until it doesn't. By 1989, you got to remember, Pepsi is essentially operating inside the USSR with a monopoly. Everybody's drinking fucking Pepsi, whereas on the other side, where they're trying to sell vodka, there's competition for alcohol. There's beer, whiskey, there's probably other vodka brands, right? They're not selling as much vodka.
Well, because then you would also have like, there wouldn't be vodka. There would still be vodka in the US because there would still be like Russian Americans who probably left the USSR. Or even, is vodka popular in Ukraine? But there would be at least, I mean, there is a diaspora of like Russians who immigrated to the USA during this point, who probably would be able to make vodka without needing to get it from the US, from the USSR. Right? Then again, I mean, right? Sorry, I'm just thinking about like the demographics and statistics of how many Russian diaspora. US made vodka, French vodka, Finnish vodka. Wait, is vodka not Russian? I thought it was Russian. Or is it just because there's a bunch of Russian diaspora from all across Europe and then into the United States, which was what I was thinking of. Polish vodka is pretty good. I have a bottle here somewhere. I mean, that also makes sense, especially because, you know, Poland was part of the USSR for a while, wasn't it? I'm pretty sure that happened. It wasn't that, because the Warsaw Pact got mentioned earlier. Wasn't that a whole thing? If you get potatoes, you can make vodka. So the Irish made vodka? I guess I never really thought about Russia as like the potato country, but I mean, potatoes can grow just about anywhere, so.
They are Pepsi, which means Pepsi's not making enough money, so they've got to figure out some other way to barter with the USSR to get the value from all the Pepsi they're sending over there. And this is where the warships come in, okay? According to the internet.
Wait. So, but they were still selling their syrup, weren't they? Poland was part of the Warsaw Pact, the defensive alliance. Yeah, I need to refamiliarize myself with like more of what was going on, the history of all these different countries during, you know, the Cold War outside, you know, like the USA and, you know, the Soviets and maybe Cuba. Because I know a lot was happening, but I need to refamiliarize myself with the history.
Meme, Pepsi then trades a bunch of Pepsi over to the USSR in exchange for 20 Soviet warships, 17 submarines.
But wait, so they're not making a profit even though they've been selling, because they sold the Pepsi syrup, right? They sold the syrup from the soda, but then I guess they were doing, because right, I'm stupid, I'm sorry. Because they still had to make a profit because they were trading the syrup for vodka, and they weren't able to, you know, they weren't able to make a profit off the vodka. Sorry, nope. Having a little bit of economic illiteracy there, that is my bad.
Marines, 1 cruiser, 1 frigate, and 1 destroyer. And then they eventually sell it off to be scrapped, and that's how they get their money. But for a brief period in time, Pepsi had the 6th biggest navy on the planet.
I don't believe you.
Okay, no, it's not. I did the rough tonnage on 17 submarines, a cruiser, a frigate, and a destroyer, and I checked. It would not be in the top 10 for 1989. Honestly, I'd be shocked if it was even in the top 20. And that's if you're being generous enough to call 20 scrapped vessels a viable navy.
Right. Yeah, they were exchanging goods. Yeah, that makes sense. No, there wasn't actually, they were exchanging goods, and Pepsi was looking to make a profit, which they were probably going to try to make that off of the vodka, right? And they weren't making a profit off of the vodka. You're watching my problem solving in real time, by the way. And sometimes it's not very good problem solving. Anyways, what was I had another thought that I was going to exchange here. I can't remember. I'll just keep going.
Which it's not. B, that's also just...
Oh, wait, no. I remember what I was going to say. I was going to say, I'm surprised they didn't keep some of the ships for at least promotional purposes. That would have, like, just like, keep a warship or a submarine with... Because they could have used that for advertising, but again, they also needed to make a profit. So yeah, of course they would scrap it. I just think it would be kind of a really good advertisement to like repurpose like a submarine or like a frigate or a destroyer. But then like, I guess you'd have to paint and then remodel, and it would cost so much money. And again, they're just trying to make a profit. So yeah. I just think it would be cool if they didn't they also have a Harrier? They might have. Let me keep watching.
It's not what happened. Okay, there's a bunch of other YouTube videos about this. They all seem to have a different version of what happened or how this went down. Some of them say what the meme said. Some of them have a little bit different critique, whatever. I don't think any of them are right from all the other videos that I watched. They all just appear to be citing each other, citing the meme, or citing random blog posts that they found. So I went through scouring newspaper articles from all across...
Always remember, kids, just because you see it on the internet and the internet is full of information, all of human information at your fingertips, doesn't mean all of that information is correct. Some of it might be correct, some of it might be mostly correct, some of it might be partially correct, some of it might not be correct whatsoever. Sounds like they were already basically scrapped. Yeah, and basically the upkeep was not worth it. Yeah. Old warships are kind of a white elephant in terms of being traded or gifted. Yeah, that makes sense. And again, the upkeep and everything. I just think, I don't know, maybe this is my Dark Lord VTuber sort of thinking, but just having a warship that I could parade around, even if it was like an old scrapped warship that I could use for promotional purposes, is kind of fun. But yes, upkeep would be awful. And to be fair, I don't know if a soda company would be able to handle the upkeep on a warship. Any warship. That being said, like I said, Pepsi submarine tours. Having a Pepsi submarine. Just keep one submarine. And then paint it Pepsi colors, call it the Pepsi submarine, and say, we're diving into flavor. Come on, just one submarine. Just one submarine. Come on, guys. Right, come on. You see my vision, right? The crazy part is how much official data is BS. Once you really bored down the nitty-gritty, as found this out as an aviation advisor. Yeah, and a lot of stuff gets flubbed. Listen, a lot of there's a lot of historical revisionism on the internet, and then it sometimes just gets replaced with more historical revisionism, if I'm being honest, based on experience. And the actual true facts of what happened get lost in the details, because a lot of the time that stuff is very complicated and also kind of boring for a lot of people. It's not sensational enough. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's actually interesting. But then you actually get into the nitty-gritty and it's not as vibrant, it's not as exciting. Anyways.
Across the United States of America from 1989 till 1995, and here's what I found. Pepsi did not trade concentrated sugar syrup to the USSR for 20 warships. At no point did Pepsi have ownership over these warships. What they did is they brokered a three-way deal with a Norwegian shipyard, and they basically had the same exact proposal that they had with the US government. They approached Norway and they were like, hey, if we convince the USSR to turn over a bunch of their warships to you for scrap, and in exchange you give me a bunch of money, and then I give them...
Okay, so they never owned the ships. So there never could have been the Pepsi submarine. They could have never repurposed them. Well, actually, no, they could have done that with the Norwegian shipyard, though. Example, country X says that they have 12 helicopters, even our CIA lists that. I love how you said that our CIA. I know what you mean, but it's like, it implies other countries have their own CIA, which they do. They're just not called the CIA. And they're probably also just as awful and untrustworthy. We get down there and we find we have 3 working helos, 3, not 12, but 12 is the official number. Shake my head. Yeah, a lot of flubbing.
Diabetes, would that be okay with you? And the Norwegian government is like, cool, that's great. So the Soviet Union turned over 20 warships to a Norwegian scrap company. They picked up the warships. Pepsi had no ownership of them at any point in time. And then the Norwegian company gave Pepsi a bunch of money.
Yes! Just one submarine? I know I keep hammering this point home, but like, they couldn't keep one submarine? Really? Not a single one? Just for promotional purposes? Just to repurpose it into like a cool marketing tool or mascot? Again, I know the upkeep cost, but it could have just been ornamental. You know? It could have just been ornamental. Oh well.
Yes! Can you feel that, buddy? Huh?
Now, a bunch of American newspapers started reporting this. They
no, you get no
made
submarine.
The story very
oh,
confusing, so I see why some people...
I've always wanted to go on a submarine. I remember seeing submarine tours and pamphlets growing up. We all live in a yellow submarine. Yellow submarine. Yellow submarine.
People do think America had the 6th largest navy on the planet at some point in time, even though that is incorrect. So once people got that impression, they also started to get...
Wait, wouldn't the U.S. have the largest navy at this point? Who had the largest navy at this point? Wasn't it the USA? Because like after World War II, didn't the U.S. have just like so much military hardware and assets left, and then they never really stopped making them, and that was like kind of something that Eisenhower was warning about with the military-industrial complex, right? Or am I off base here? Off base, military.
Conflicting feelings like, hey, I don't know if a soda company should be getting involved in international arms deals involving gigantic naval fleets of warships, to which, you know, pretty understandable sentiment. Pepsi doubles down. They come out with a press statement.
I mean, but they don't even have... Like, it wasn't even... I don't think it was even an arms deal. It was like a scrap deal, wasn't it? But I mean, I guess those warships sort of still have weapons, so they were making an arms deal with Norway. The Norwegian government, right? The Russian Navy has quite a tragic story. Ooh, I might have to learn this.
Statement saying the U.S. government's just mad that we're making them look bad because we're de-arming the Soviets faster than they can.
It's him. It's him, boys. The USA made it to almost a 1,000 ship navy in the 1980s. Now we have, checks internet, 241. That's, I think, I mean, 241 naval ships is still a big number, right? It's just, the problem is for me, is you just see the number, like you just see the number 241, right? And you don't really consider how many ships that actually is. And that's my problem, it's just trying to visualize that. But the US almost made it to 1,000 ships in the Navy, which is crazy to think about actually putting that into proper context. But how did they go from 1,000 to 241? Bear in mind, it's the type of ships that matter too. That's true. That's true. If I'm going to be a proper Dark Lord, I need to, I need to refamiliarize myself with military. Even though I don't want to go to war, if I want to if I want to be a more effective conqueror or expand my influence, it's probably nice to actually understand a little bit more about military hardware and military tactics and logistics and all that. To be a proper Dark Lord, I mean, every Dark Lord with assault needs to understand the logistics, and unfortunately, I do not understand logistics all that well. To cover the planet, 241 is not enough to have a global presence. Makes sense. Well, to be fair, ships are way more effective, so that's true. Lots of destroyers, frigates, and cruisers were scrapped. What did they do with all that scrap metal? Was it repurposed into other vessels, or just, just used for different stuff, I guess? Or sold to other navies? Well, we sold scrap to other navies? Now that actually makes sense. And the PLAN has a bigger navy than the US right now and has more capacity to troop. That's true. It's true.
Okay, the plan worked. Pepsi's like, holy shit.
Although then again, bigger numbers doesn't always mean better military, as far as I've learned.
Actually worked. We made a ton of money. We've got a monopoly over there. How can we exploit this to make even more money, knowing that we can sell Russian ships and get a ton of cash? Pizza Hut. We own Pizza Hut. Pepsi owns Pizza Hut.
I forgot that Pepsi owns Pizza Hut. Do they still own Pizza Hut? If they do, why can't they make Pizza Hut better? We sold a lot of destroyers to other navies. That makes sense. Wait a minute. If the US is selling... If the government is selling warships that they built using our tax money, then why am I still paying tax? You know what? I know why I'm still paying taxes. I'm not going to go on a rant on taxes. I'm not going to go on a rant on taxes. A lot of the reason that we pay taxes, as far as I am aware, is not so much to pay the government. It's actually to offset inflation. Believe it or not, as far as my knowledge on taxes currently is. By the way, my birthday is April 15th, tax day. Adding more insult to injury on taxes. Why I despise taxes. Many reasons I despise taxes. Why Gorslab doesn't have taxes. I need to stop myself before I go on a further tax rant. Because we'd be here all night. Pepsi owns a lot of smaller brands. I did know that. I just forgot that Pepsi owns Pizza Hut because Pepsi is garbage and that's why Pizza Hut isn't better. You know, people give CC's Pizza a lot of guff, a lot of crap. Hot take. Maybe this isn't so hot. Maybe this is lukewarm. Maybe this is maybe this is super cold. I think CC's Pizza is 1,000 times better than Pizza Hut. Without fail. I would take CC's mediocre buffet over Pizza Hut anytime. You should see if buying phase merch can be a tax write-off. I will consider that. We are supporting the less fortunate. Do we support taxes? Why taxes really support the less fortunate? Or does it just keep them less fortunate? I guess I guess Pepsi spun a lot of their brands off to to the subsidiary Yum back in 1997. Just saw that. Yeah, but that's a subsidiary. That's still technically like Pepsi. Pizza is only good when you get those little personal ones at the mail. That's true. Marco's Pizza is the best chain in this area, North Carolina, but I'm sure it changes area to area. Oh yeah, I mean, local pizza places. There's actually one tied to Gorslab that's pretty good. I'm going to be honest. I prefer local pizza places because, you know, I like to support locals. We have a lot of winter birds from not North Carolina, New York City in the Southwest here. Gotcha. So we have a lot of family pizza places. Oh, winter birds, by that you mean people coming down to the South for the winter. Okay, that makes sense, right? Is that what winter birds means? So we have a lot of family pizza places. Yeah, you know what's funny? Because I remember in one area, back when I lived in my parents' throne realm, sorry, and that was tied to another location on Earth, right? There was a place in the town that was adjacent to us that there was like one location in an outdoor mall. They had a pizza place that was really interesting, but they ran out of business. Not because like the pizza was bad. The place was actually cool. It was like they made their own Chuck E. Cheese's, right? And there was a lot of cool stores there. The problem is, for whatever reason, that location just never got any traffic. It may or may not have been cursed. And so a lot of like cool businesses that used to be there, like, went out of business, and it really sucked. Anyways,
start putting Pizza Huts inside the USSR.
Diabetes.
So Pepsi goes back to the USSR and they're like, hey, we know you guys like bread.
Ooh, I guess because now I want to talk about Pizza Hut because like I remember their Cinesticks are just so bad. Like not just bad for you, just like really just bad. And their cheese pizza, because listen, I just prefer, you know, good old classic cheese pizza, right? I don't really like anything on it. Sometimes I might want some pepperoni, right? But yeah, that's, like, Pizza Hut food is just like, I mean, it's fast food. It's gonna be greasy, but like Pizza Hut food is just like, it's like greasy in the most gaudy way possible, if that makes sense. Like it's greasy in the most like too on the nose with how greasy it is. Anyways.
Standing in line all the time for it. How would you feel about a big flat piece of bread with some marinara sauce, some cheese, and some toppings on it? It's called pizza. It's fantastic. The USSR is interested. They're listening. They want Pizza Hut. They also want more Pepsi. Pepsi is like, okay, here's the deal. You want pizza, you want Pepsi. We're gonna need some money. Your money is basically.
I'm surprised at this point that like PepsiCo didn't just take over the USSR at this point. Because it sounds like they were on their way to basically like conquering the USSR. Like it would have been like, there would have no longer been the USSR. It would have just been PepsiCo, the country. Which actually, I don't approve of companies becoming the government. At the same time, Pepsi ruling basically ruling most of like Eastern Europe and then like a lot of Eurasia would be kind of funny. I admit that would be kind of funny. That would be a kind of funny alternative history. The Pepsi Empire. I miss Pizza Hut from the 90s, 2000. Yeah, I think they were better back then. Pizza Hut is coasting off their reputation from the 70s and 80s. It was decent back then. Not great, but not bad. Now, yeah, I mean, here's the thing. The last Pizza Hut that was near me, that was connected to Gorslab, in the town connected to Gorslab, it still had the ambiance of an old Pizza Hut. It's just their food was just like, it was on par with the Burger Kings from Britain. It was just bad. I would go there sometimes and it was just bad. Like just really subpar. And no wonder they wouldn't get. I don't want corporals going anywhere near positions in the government. Oh, I don't either. I just think it would be funny if Pepsi ruled over basically all of Eurasia, Russia, and parts of Eastern Europe. And instead of Adidas tracksuits, we got like tracksuits with Pepsi logo. I mean, it would still be sort of dystopian. It would just be kind of a funny dystopian in a way. Like, can you imagine the Stalker games, but suddenly like everyone is now drinking Pepsi and there's like a Pizza Hut in the zone. I'm going to the gym. See y'all later. Thank you for stopping by, OG. I'm just saying the possibility for like silly memes and nonsense in an alternative history where Pepsi rule is suddenly now. Sorry, I'm just thinking about it. Where now the USSR is gone, and PepsiCo breaks away from the USSA. Sorry, not USSA. The USA to become the next superpower. PepsiCo suddenly now owns a bunch of nukes. I'm sorry, it's very silly to think about. Wasn't that a joke from Demolition Man? All restaurants are Taco Bell in the future. Was that? I need to watch Demolition Man again. I think that was a joke. But like again, I'm just thinking of the idea that Pepsi just takes over, and then instead of like Khrushchev or Gorbachev, we have this John Kendall guy. This giant John Kendall guy is now in charge of the US. What was the former USSR, now the PepsiCo empire. And now they are competing with the USSA. I keep saying USSA. I mean USA. But like, yes, welcome to our finest Taco Bell. But I don't know. I just think that idea is really, really funny to me, that the Cold War goes a completely different direction where Pepsi takes over the other world superpower. And then the US has to fight them, and then Coca-Cola. Just imagine, like, suddenly Pepsi now owns the once USSR, right? So then Coca-Cola has to step up to the United States. They have to stand up to the United, or not stand up to the United States. They go up to the United States and be like, Mr. President, Mr. Nixon, Coca-Cola will help fight Pepsi. I don't know who ruled, who was the CEO of Coca-Cola at the time. But you guys, DeMongrels, you see my vision, right? Chat, DeMongrels, you see my vision, right? Like, I am rambling, but like, you see the vision, don't you? Oh, hold on. Sorry, that was an alarm. But like, but you see, like, this could be a fun, like weird, like, experimental game. Need to see branded mechas. Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Like, yeah, exactly, branded mechas, where it's like, again, an alternate future where Pepsi controls the once USSR, has control of all their assets, rebrands everything to Pepsi, becomes the Pepsi empire, and Coca-Cola and the USA have to, fight a new Cold War together. Oh, it could have been so funny. I like that idea.
Garbage, it's worthless everywhere, it's monopoly money, so we're gonna need you to give us more ships, and then we'll sell them for actual money. To which the USSR is like, well, we don't have any ships to give up right now, but we do have a pretty big ship manufacturing infrastructure. How about we build you 10 brand new oil tankers worth $1 billion, and then you start throwing up Pizza Huts inside the USSR, to which
okay, but then, like, just fill those oil tankers with, like, Pepsi syrup. Yeah? Come on. This is, yeah. You basically have that in Cyberpunk with the mega corpos basically being governments and literally fighting each other. I know, but like, this is funnier now because like in Cyberpunk, you should play Shadowrun. Megacorps do rule over chunks of territory. I mean, again, true. I'm just thinking that this could just be like a fun, like, alternative world story or like a game. The possibilities are just endless. Like it would be really funny. That's all I'm saying is it would be really, really funny. It would be really, really entertaining. Also, Ace Combat 3. Okay, fair enough. So I need to look at these recommendations because I knew Cyberpunk had that thing with Megacorpos. I also sort of knew that with Shadowrun.
Pizza Hut is like Sounds great. And that happens in 1990. The Soviet Union gets to work building their oil tankers, and they start throwing up
For 100 Pizza Huts and 5 Pepsi plants, and they get like, I don't know, does 100 seem a little low for Russia and the Soviet Union, who basically own all of like Russia and Eurasia, and you know, like it kind of feels like the Soviets kind of got a bum deal. Weapon manufacturers becoming governments are scary. Fast food companies becoming governments are goofy. Armchair, welcome. I think this is the first time I've seen you here, but welcome. Yes, no, that's what I'm saying. The fast food companies becoming governments are just goofy. It would be really silly. It's really silly, and I kind of want to see that happening. I don't want to see Raytheon taking over the government, even though they haven't taken over the government, but yeah. Raytheon, or what's the other one? It's not Texas Instruments. I mean, is it Texas Instruments? No. Most of the populace in Russia is based in Western Russia. I mean, that's true too. Most of Russia is kind of, steppes and wastelandish, empty space. Yeah. I mean, if you look at Siberia, there's certain places. I remember from a friend in Russia who told me there are just some places where you don't go in Russia, not because like they're dangerous, because they don't want people going there and dying because it can get so cold, like your eyes can freeze over. But again, what Armchair said is fast food companies becoming governments are just goofy. Yeah, it's goofy. It is dystopian still, but it's also really funny in a really like strange way.
Pizza Huts all over the USSR and slinging Pepsi all over the place. Okay, side note.
Granted, there would probably be a lot of diabetes. Like, there would be far more diabetics and obesities. They either have the calculator or the javelin. That was Texas Instruments. I'm trying to think of like it's who are the like big weapons manufacturers. It's Raytheon, and then who else? It's like Raytheon, and I don't think it might have been Texas Instruments. It was like, I know it's on the tip of my tongue. I'm trying to remember Raytheon and like, it'll come back to me.
This is part of the story that drives me absolutely nuts. Like, if this was a movie, I would be watching the movie being like, this plot line is stupid. That wouldn't happen in real life. This would have happened instead. One of those moments where it's like, why didn't Gandalf just have the giant eagles fly the hobbits to the volcano?
See, the thing is, it is stupid. It is silly. But I'm also here for it. Like I'm here for the campiness. I am here for that silly, over the top, exaggerated. Like, I love tokusatsu. I love anime. They do that all the time. It's funny. I want to see it.
And save the world in like 20 minutes. One of those.
Oh gosh, wasn't there just a whole big... Okay, Lockheed Martin, Boeing, and Northrop Grumman. That's what I'm thinking of. I was thinking of Lockheed Martin, but then you guys reminded me of Boeing and then Northrop Grumman, the big three of the defense industry. I don't even know. Is Raytheon even up there? It wasn't Raytheon. But, gosh, wasn't there just a whole big discussion on X about, like, why you couldn't just, like, the Eagles couldn't just fly over to Mordor? And like an actual like discussion of no, it couldn't be done this way, and we've had this conversation for the longest time. Oh well.
Why don't the Soviets just steal the recipe for Pepsi? Like, I don't understand. Like, don't get me wrong, stealing intellectual property is wrong. You shouldn't do it. But also, like, they fucking stole nuclear secrets. Like, they've already crossed that line. I don't understand, like, the moral code of, I'm willing to steal nuclear technology to build nukes to end the planet, but stealing a Pepsi recipe is crossing the line.
You'd be surprised how weird some people's standards are. And I say that as someone with obviously kind of weird standards. You'd be surprised how weird certain people's standards are. That being said, he has a point. Why didn't they just steal it? Maybe, I guess, they were worried about diabetes. I don't know. But if they were worried about that, then they wouldn't have bought it in the first place. I think it's just one of those weird human idiosyncrasies where it's just like, I guess I would steal a nuke or I guess I'll steal a nuke, but stealing like Pepsi stuff, those patent lawyers are a lot scarier than think. Also true. The Black Riders would have killed the Eagles. Skies are only safer now with over Mordor where Sauron getting destroyed. And also Sauron was, distracted by, Aragorn and a bunch of other stuff. And, the hobbits had to sneak in and they almost died doing that. And also, yeah, the Black Riders with the Fell Beasts. I mean, the Eagles are pretty tough, but like, if Sauron knew they were coming, then yeah, if Sauron actually knew they were coming, he would have easily prepped his forces, and the Eagles probably would have likely died. And then you also have to consider that they're like carrying valuable cargo, which is the ring. And so that would make the Eagle a target who could also be corrupted. Like there's a whole bunch of different stuff. And I think, didn't Tolkien explain this himself? I don't remember if he did or not. Anyways.
Like, just steal the recipe and make your own. They're already giving it to you. Give it to your fucking scientists. Have them figure out what's in the shit and make your own. Like, communists are dumb. Sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. Anyways, now, obviously, it takes a while to build 10 massive oil tankers worth $1 billion, like, more than a year. And guess what happens in 1991? The Soviet Union collapses, and overnight, what was one nation with one government fractures into 15 separate nations with 15 separate governments, all with 15 different sets of laws and rules. And this is a logistical horror story because Pepsi and Pizza Hut's entire supply.
I mean, I think it's good that the Soviet Union did fall. That being said, yeah, that the logistics and then organizing after all of that would be a pain in the butt. Because then you still have to figure all that out. I mean, I'm sure it was a relief for a lot of people, but then it's like, oh crap, we have to kind of rebuild everything from scratch. Do you look at that mythic being scarce flying through the sky, heading straight for me? How curious compared to a little more morals scurrying across the land. Distinctions, yeah. Tolkien did explain it. It's just naysayers just ignores writing on the topic. Very common phenomenon.
Chain, the manufacturing and the distributing.
And to be fair, I've also been guilty of that myself on certain points in the past. So I'm not immune to that. I've made that own mistake too. I'm just owning up to it.
One night was all in one country. It was all perfect. It was set up, ready to go. It was a fine-tuned machine. And then overnight, it's now spread.
Fine-tuned machine and communism don't really go together well. Yeah.
Out across 15 different countries, and all those different countries want different shit.
This is a bummer, man. That's a bummer.
Right, like the factory that makes all the bottles for the Pepsi is in Lithuania, but the Lithuanians now want to be paid up front in hard cash before they're willing to let go of the bottles, and then they have to figure out how to import the bottles from Lithuania to this new country called Belarus, and the only way to go from A to B is to bribe people on the road, all the government officials from the government that just got stood up 8 hours ago. It's a complete nightmare. And that's going on a humongous scale across 15 different countries, and if that wasn't bad enough, all of the shit
And that's why I don't like dealing with governments. Just go directly to the people. Go directly to the consumer. But then again, I forgot that Pepsi was working with the government and going through the government and not really to the individual people themselves. I correct myself in real time. It's what I do. Sometimes mostly poorly.
Manufacturing capacity where the oil tankers are being built is in Ukraine, and the Ukrainians are like, I'm not fucking turning over $1 billion worth of oil tankers so you can buy bottles from a bunch of Lithuanians. That's your fucking problem. So now Pepsi is absolutely screwed. They're up a creek without a paddle. Like, if they don't get these ships, they've already invested a ton of money in all these pizza.
I forgot where Lithuania is. I need to look at a map. And here I am I made fun of my Oshi for her poor geographic knowledge, and to be fair, my own geographic knowledge is not so great either. It's very rusty. It's big sad. And this is coming from someone who, in his own bedroom, used to have a map of the world. And despite having a map of the entire world, didn't know that South Africa was a country, and thought for the longest time that South Africa was a region. Because most African countries aren't named like that. They have their own distinct names. They have their own distinct names, darn it. But here's South Africa, just called South Africa. You don't talk about West Africa. West Africa refers to an entire region. East Africa refers to an entire region. North Africa refers to an entire region. But South Africa, no, that's an entire country. That's an entire country. It's not a region. It makes me angry. Makes me very angry.
Huts, they've been giving them Pepsi, like they're gonna lose their ass on this deal if they.
But you get what I mean, right? Like again, South Africa is just called South Africa. But you don't. There's no country called West Africa. There's no country called East Africa. Those are they represent different regions. Same with North Africa. Granted, back in the day, South Africa had names like the Orange Free State, stuff like that. It would still be better than South Africa. There are these two in Korea named like that. Yeah, I don't like it. It's just like, it's like Virginia and West Virginia. You know, like I don't hate West Virginia. I don't hate Virginia. But then you have Virginia and West Virginia. But like, why isn't the other called East Virginia? You know? Because we have North Dakota, we have South Dakota, we have North Carolina, we have South Carolina. But no, Virginia gets to just be Virginia, and West Virginia is just West Virginia. It doesn't even get, it's not even called like New Virginia. Like, the naming conventions don't make sense. Like, it makes me unreasonably angry. Like, you know what I mean, right? Like, I am crazy. I am crazy and I am stupid. We've established this. And I shouldn't be saying that as Dark Lord. I should have more haughtiness and respect. But, you know, I get to call myself stupid. I get to call myself crazy because I acknowledge it. I own it. That's mine. But you all understand. The mongrels, you all understand what I'm getting on about, right? Like you get it, right? Right? Please tell me you get it. Please tell me you get it. Please tell me you get it.
Can't figure this out. They tell this to the Ukrainians, and the Ukrainians are like, okay, fine. We'll finish the ships. We'll give them to you. You can sell them for $1 billion, but we need you to reinvest a bunch of that money back into the new Ukrainian economy. And Pizza Hut's like, okay, I'm listening. What do you want? We're going to need like 100 Pizza Huts and at least 5 Pepsi plants because this shit's fucking awesome.
Wait. Per country? They want like 100 Pizza Huts. They want 100 Pizza Huts and like 5 Pepsi plants per countries? West Virginia was split due to staying loyal to the Union during the Civil War. No, I get that. I just wish they named the other one East Virginia. You know? There was a plan for a state to be called Franklin between North Carolina and Tennessee, but it never came to fruition. Isn't there a state for like, isn't that something that Oregon is trying to do? Like, because Oregon is trying to I think East Oregon wants to break away from West Oregon and Portland. And to be fair, I totally get that. And they don't want to be ruled by like Portland and Portlandia anymore. That was still a thing, wasn't it? That was still a while ago. Okay, hold on. The difference, it's like the difference between South Africa and not South Africa. I'm not going back to South Africa. I've never been to South Africa. I'm on a tangent. It's like the difference between South America and the USA. Gotcha. I think that's Jefferson. Was that Jefferson? Yep, East Oregon and East Washington want to split off, and I wish them all the luck on that. I don't think it's going to happen, but I wish them the luck. I wish them all the best on that. Just Ukraine, I think. They've been starving for decades. They'll be hungry. Oh, yeah, that's true. Ukraine has been through a lot at this point. I mean, Ukraine's been through a lot in general, especially recently. But yeah, the objective is to isolate the blue regions from the red regions. Yeah.
Awesome.
That's the best I could do.
I mean, that's going to cost like $300 million.
Okay, so it was only 100. It was only 100 Pizza Huts for Ukraine and then 5 Pepsi plants, which, considering the size of Ukraine, it's not a small, it's like a small medium. I would say it's more of a medium-sized country, right? Medium-sized country geographically. Hundreds a lot. How many Pizza Huts were around, like, Pizza Huts were around in the US at this point? I'll have to look that up at some point.
To make all those factories and all those Pizza Huts, but like they have no other choice. Plus, they'll also have the factories and Pizza Huts, so they'll be making revenue down the road. They're securing an audience. Like, all right, best deal we're gonna get, we'll take it. And while all this is going on, while Pepsi's running around 15 different nations trying to piece together their business that was shattered into a million pieces,
they're trying to reforge the Pepsi empire, their lost empire, restore the Pepsi Union.
guess what happens? Coca-Cola comes in with their abundance of cash and starts marketing all over the place.
Okay, we have Coca-Cola coming in with the steel chair. Yeah, we're getting this. Okay, so I didn't get my PepsiCo ruling over the former USSR, and then the US and Coca-Cola teaming up together to defeat them. But this is a fun, this is, you know what, I'll take this. This is kind of awesome with Coca-Cola coming in. I wish I miss when corporations all sort of, competed with each other like this. And they had like wrestling type rivalries. I mean, they still kind of do, but it's like, now everyone's merging together. They're not just, I miss when they were cheeky, when they had, wrestling style beef and rivalries together, and that they could make ads making fun of one another and be and like actually were competing, or at least gave the illusion that they were more so competing.
And it takes off because they have the perfect setup, right? Like Pepsi was banking on, I was here first, I'm ingrained in the culture.
To be fair, also Coca-Cola had, like, they had bottles. Wait, Pepsi had bottles, didn't they? They Pepsi, I think I've seen Pepsi bottles. It's just, I think Coke is more iconic with their bottles, whereas Pepsi feels like it's more iconic in the can. Yeah.
They've already developed a habit of drinking Pepsi. They're going to choose me over Coke. Finally, I'll have an audience that likes Pepsi more than Coca-Cola. Baby. Not what happened at all. The Soviets view it as like, oh, Pepsi's the backup string quarterback that they were willing to sell to the commies, and Coca-Cola was the good shit that they were hoarding for themselves. So then everybody starts drinking Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola becomes the #1 soda in what was the USSR. Okay, and that's the moral of the story. Don't do business with communists. Pepsi did that. Look what happened to Pepsi. But then, in 1997, Pepsi turns it around and completely redeems themselves. Okay, I don't know who's responsible for it, but some diabolical genius, some red-blooded American had the best idea on the planet. What if we could get Gorbachev, the last leader of the USSR, to do a
Wait, is it Gorbachev or Gorbachev? I thought it was Gorbachev.
Fucking Pizza Hut commercial. Oh, and it happens. It's poetry. It's the most ironic, beautiful shit on the planet. This would be like if the Soviet Union won, America collapsed, and they somehow convinced Ronald Reagan to do a commercial for the labia or whatever.
I mean, the only reason I really remember Gorbachev at all was because of his birthmark.
That stupid, ugly-ass Soviet car was called.
It is a birthmark, right? Like, it wasn't like a scar or anything. I thought it was a birthmark. Loss of masculine voices in decision-making roles in these companies is why they don't serve up great advertising anymore. I think that can be part of it, for sure. But I think it goes deep. There's a whole bunch of, like, deep stuff to it. A bunch of rabbit hole nonsense.
Literally, the leader of the ideology of communism in America rolls up and is like, cool, yeah, just put the fries in the bag, nerd.
I mean, was Gorbachev even a communist at this point? It feels like at this point, like, the USSR was like communist in name only.
Everybody likes to talk about what they would do if they got a time machine. I'm telling you right now, the first thing I'm doing is I'm grabbing that video, I'm going back in time, I'm gonna show Karl Marx, Lenin, Stalin, how all this shit ends, and then I'm gonna die of dehydration from pissing myself laughing so hard. In conclusion, nobody out Pizza's a Hut, motherfucker. Thanks.
Why stop there? Like, I would give Karl Marx a wedgie. And then kick him into a bog. And then do the laughing. And then do the time machine.
Thanks for watching. Best way to support the channel is go buy some merch over the Fat Electrician, try some Echelon, all that's available.
Well, that was a fantastic video. Thank you for the recommendation, John. I'm going to be right back. If anyone wants to post any more recommendations in chat, give me more recommendation videos to take a look at, we'll do that. I'm just going to be right back. So, BRB. Nope, hold on. And I am back. I didn't even let my transition finish that time. So, that was a good video. Trying to think of what I want to do for the next video. Does anyone else have any more recommendations for me, Demongrels? Or should I maybe show off one of my favorite videos that I enjoy? From one of my favorite creators. Welcome back, thank you. Wait, the watermelon riot. I linked one? Oh, it must not have shown up, hold on. I thought I had turned on links. Can you link it again? Or, If the link isn't working, I used to really enjoy old internet historian videos. I miss him. Yeah, I mean, he's still doing stuff, isn't he? Is he still around, or did he go on an indefinite hiatus? Gorn, if the link didn't work, if it didn't show up in chat, just give me the name of the video title and I'll look it up. I'll look it up. Let's see. He's just slow to upload. Yeah, I mean, he takes a very long time to upload, but that's totally fine. I think he still posts stuff, but it's not quite the same. No, it's very different. I mean, I don't think we're ever going to get a video again about, you know, pools closed. But again, that was a very specific era of the internet. I think I was around for that. I made hell noticeably worse than mortal sin. Okay, let's take a look at this. Corn made a suggestion. I made hell noticeably worse. Okay. Oh, this is by... Oh, hold on. Hold on 1 second. Mortal Sin. I think I've heard of this. I think I've seen Reggie's videos before. We should all watch an internet historian convention video and prep for FaceCon. We probably should. I hope it doesn't end up like DashCon or Firefest. It would be kind of funny if it did. Shia finally got divided. I kind of feel bad for him, in a sense. Oh, hold on. Here we go. Let me move myself down a little further here. Make myself a little smaller. Zoop, zoop, zoop. Oh, making myself bigger. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. I need to shrink. Nope, that's too small. Sorry about that. I should be better now. I was having a little bit of difficulty. Sometimes I have to adjust myself in my throne room.
Mortal sin is defined as a grave offense against Catholic law. Examples include marital infidelity, stealing from others, and chopping off a man's legs and head before killing him with 50 punches to the chest. However, only one of those is relevant to today's video, because we've been sponsored to play Mortal Sin. Explore its unique conflict resolution.
Okay, I kind of want to play this game now. This looks fun. I think people will have fairly low expectations for FaceCon, or I hope they do. I think I don't know what to expect. I'm hoping for the best, but I think it will also be, if I'm being honest, it will probably be a smaller convention. I hope that Fishman doesn't go all out, like this is a Hail Mary. But maybe she should go all out. I've never run a convention before, so I don't know. I don't really have any major expectations going into FaceCon. I just kind of want to go, and we'll see what happens. Yo, at the gym. Hey, OG. Hope you're having a good time at the gym.
Solution system, and find some of the most broken builds in the game to punish the citizens of Hell for not being baptized. But first, what is Mortal Sin? Imagine if the dark fantasy setting of Berserk had a threesome with the combat from Ninja Gaiden and the soundtrack from Diablo, and then died in childbirth. What you'd get is Mortal Sin. It's a fast-paced combo-centric dungeon crawler, which is less of a love letter to Berserk and more of a death threat. In this game, you play as the color-corrected swordsman, who finds himself in a nightmarish hellscape populated by demons. These used to be people, but their sinful nature has corrupted them into...
What's interesting is he mentioned that Ninja Gaiden and Diablo, but this is a first-person game. Interesting. I like to think Fishman is smarter than that. I hope so, but after that, the recent blunder that happened, I just hope that's just a one-off blunder, without going into further details to let that issue lie. Convention planning, you need a reasonable budget. Oh, for sure. And I mean, the average price of a 3 to 5 MPB hardlight internet is 25,000. The art style reminds me of Hylix. Yeah, it does remind me of Hylix too. I hope it's as good as Offkai, but with but with less of a crowd.
To soulless monstrosities of violence. If Jesus died to protect the sinners...
Why does... That's just Moist Critical. That's just Charlie. Okay, interesting choice. Interesting choice.
Then call me the Antichrist, because we're killing everyone here. Our objective is to fight our way through 3 different dungeons and murder the Avatar of Sin. Not for the crime of corrupting humanity, but for having a stupid name. In theory, all of that could
Avatar
be
of
done
Sin,
without viciously decapitating thousands of people
not to be
and
confused
drowning
with
them in a
the
sea of
Icon
their
of
own
Sin.
carnage. But what are you? Some kind of pussy? Mortal Sin didn't have to go this hard with its violence, but it did it for us. So pick up that 500-pound sword and get to work. Once you clean the gore out of your eyes and look around, you'll quickly realize this game has a very distinct art style, which before now could only be achieved by microwaving your eyeballs and overdosing on low-quality crack.
I mean, it does have that very... It has that very, what's it called? The meme, like the memes that were like deep fried memes. It's definitely got that deep fried meme kind of vibe. Although it's also giving me Devil May Cry vibes. Like, it's definitely, you see the Berserk, but I mean, Berserk probably inspired so many different dark fantasies. And Devil May Cry is sort of a dark fantasy in itself. A more modern dark fantasy, but dark fantasy nonetheless.
In the immortal words of Joseph Diaz, I like my people with a little edge to them. If you tell me you cheat at checkers, I'm in. If you tell me you're a committed heroin addict, I'm in. And if you tell me you suck toes for breakfast, I'll be there at 8 a.m. I feel the same way about games. I want them to have a decisive identity. And say what you want, but this is definitely decisive.
That is also true.
Unfortunately, it has come to my attention that some audiences find this style to be visually oppressive, and instead they put the game on the
oppressive? Visually oppressive? MLG aesthetic, oil spill, Splatoon color scheme? Oh, for sure, for sure. But oppressive? We were just talking about brutalism. This is not brutalism.
Setting. But in my opinion, that is the greatest sin of them all. It's like buying a sports car just to replace the engine with a 10-speed bicycle.
I kind of would do that just for the heck of it. Listen, I'm not the most responsible Dark Lord, okay? I like to do things in part because they are funny and they amuse me. Can't a Dark Lord, a monstrosity, can't a Dark Lord have a little emotion? Can't he have a little whimsy in his life? Can't he do things just to exercise his free will? To do things that are so, what are deemed as, you know, lol, so random. You know, they're mocked and ridiculed as lol, so random, but in reality it's just wanting to see if I could and see what would happen for the sake of it. Just because I want to enjoy a little chaos, because guess what? In those moments of chaos, you find some creativity and you find some new strange way to do things that is entertaining. Now, what one would get from, you know, replacing an entire engine block with a bicycle, what I would get from that, I don't know. I don't know if there's any insight to be gleaned. Exactly, Argent. Is a Dark Lord not entitled to the quirks of his psyche? Without being accused of being, you know, the quirk chungus so lol so random. I'm just doing it because I want to have fun. Okay? I'm doing it because I want to have fun. Because I want to be campy. Because I want to... Life's too short. Well, at least for mortals. I don't know where I was going with this tangent. I don't even know why I'm so upset. I just realized Tachi, if Tachi sees this, he's gonna come in and accuse me of being a Redditor again. And I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to emotionally handle that.
This art style is a mentally ill Discord e-kitten. You're not fixing her, so just enjoy the ride. As a matter of fact, I'm putting this on...
But what if I don't want to fix her? What if she's just perfect the way she is? Ah, wah, 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 wah. Indeed.
Piccolo and doubling the grain for the rest of the video. You can learn to cope, or you can die with all of the epileptics.
This video is very lean-coded.
The choice is yours. With my dog shit opinions now permeating your brain, we can talk about the gameplay. What does it feel like? Well, go find a ripe bell pepper.
Hey, hey! Mari_English mentioned. And look, Zincro mentioned.
Tear it in half with your bare hands. It feels like that. Satisfying, juicy, and powerful. Mortal Sin features 16 classes, and each one of them will gratify your sadism in new and exciting ways. Regardless of whichever class you choose, you will need to combo several different moves together to achieve maximal devastation. I have a strong aversion to the fighting game community for more than
Was that Sonic Fox? Never. Brother, Sonic Fox,
dozen reasons. So when I found out about the comboing part, I was concerned. However, I can confidently say I haven't found any furries in-game, and no one on the subreddit has tried to groom me yet. So I think we're in the clear. Each class has around 6 unique combos to learn. That may sound overwhelming, and I won't lie, it can be difficult to remember if I'm supposed to kick, thrust, pivot, parry, dash, thrust, block, or kick, pivot, thrust, parry, dash, block, jelk, while I'm being beat to death by 30 demons. But most of the time, 15 minutes of practice is all you need, and before you know it, you'll be throwing Hadouken from your feet and hacking people apart with a bone saw. For everyone else, it's...
I don't know why, but throwing Hadoukens with your feet sounds like that's someone's fetish. I'm not gonna lie, that sounds like someone's fetish, throwing Hadoukens with your feet. And I don't know whose fetish that would be. It's certainly not mine. Maybe it's VTuber Feet Fan. That might be his fetish. I hope it's not any of your fetish, the mongrels. I sincerely hope not. I sincerely hope not. There are no foot fetishists in Gross Lab. There are none. Because I don't want to have my feet lusted after. Because I like to go barefoot. Because I like to feel the ground beneath my feet. Wait, King from King of Fighters. Okay, fair enough. Okay, maybe it's not a fetish thing. Maybe I'm just thinking it might be a fetish thing. Because too many of my oomphs and too many of my mutuals and friends are into feet. And I am not. Oh, getting late, gotta get up early, but I'll finish up with the VOD tomorrow. Take care, and thank you for stopping by, John. I appreciate it.
Not hard to gaslight yourself into believing you're good at the game by simply maximizing motion blur and pressing all of your buttons as fast as possible. So let's do an overview of the classes and see what they say about you as a person. First up, the Berserker. If you're playing this class, you're either brand new.
My love for you is like a truck berserker.
Or, even worse, you're a speedrunner. As a berserker, your very first weapon is this. I know it looks like a giant sword, but it's actually a giant paintbrush, and...
Oh, I thought it was going to say it was a slunk of... slunk. It was going to be a slunk. It was going to be nothing more than a slab of iron. How does the phrase go? By all accounts, it was nothing more. How much of Twitter foot fetishism is really genuinely, though? It seems mostly performative. I mean, there are some people who are being quote-unquote ironic about it, but then there are some people who are definitely into it. I mean, I think Puppy is really into feet. You'd be surprised. Slunk. Yeah, I made up a new word. It's called slunk. I don't know what a slunk is. I guess a slunk is like a long chunk. Because whenever I think of something being chunky, I think of it being more wide than long. Like, I think of it being much more horizontal than, like, vertical. Evening Demon. Ah, ZatsuD'an, welcome. Welcome.
They are the paint. And oh, look at that. The ceiling needs a new coat of gray matter. Better get to work. The Berserker specializes in the industrial application of violence through whirlwind-based attacks. It also specializes in invincibility frames, because if you pick the right perks, you're going to be invincible whenever you're spinning, and you're never going to stop spinning.
Spin! Terrifying to think that these people walk among us, and on their feet, no less.
So just set up an auto-clicker and come back in 20 minutes when the final boss is dead. Next class, the Martyr. This one is unlocked later in the game, and fortunately so.
Holy crap, like, the edge. And I'm not saying that to be, like, rude. I like that design. That's a good-looking design. He's like, fused. Like, that is a Soulsborne character right there.
Because I have it on good authority that the developer was smoking crack when he designed it. While exploring dungeons, all classes can find these red orbs that give helpful bonuses, but they also come with a curse, so you probably only want 2 or 3. The Martyr spawns with 6, and his damage scales based on how many he has. So the typical run will involve at least a dozen curses, which can result in some unexpected and painful gameplay patterns. For example, you might get the modifiers that make enemies clone themselves, release poison gas, slowing ice, projectile nukes, and AoE jump scares every time they die. Try parrying that shit. The final thing that makes the Martyr completely unhinged is that it effectively has only one combo. Ultimate ability, attack, 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 attack. That's all you need to have some of the highest
Just keep
DPS
spamming
in the
it,
game.
baby.
I taught a chimpanzee to play Martyr, and 3 hours later, he hanged himself. In conclusion, the term painfully chaotic does...
Wow. He hung himself. That implies that the chimpanzee gained so much intelligence that he learned how to tie a noose and then hang himself. That's very impressive.
Doesn't even begin to describe Martyr gameplay, and if you enjoy it, you are a special person.
Also, Armchair, for some reason I just remembered this, and I don't know why I'm interrupting my own stream, but I remember watching your previous stream. I didn't know you were also Chinese. I just wanted to put that out there on my stream for some reason. But I didn't know you were like Hime, where you are also Australian and Chinese. I did not expect that. I thought you were just like regular Australian, which is like Irish Australian.
One of God's own prototypes, a high-powered mutant of some kind, never even considered for mass production. Wait. The Martyr and...
Hold on. Hold on. No. I am not like Hime. I know you're not like Hime. No, not ZatsuD'an Armchair. I am not like Hime. Not you. I mean, you're like... No. You're like Hime in that you're both Chinese Australian, and I didn't know that. You're both Chinese Australian. Wait, Katsu, you're Hispanic? I thought you were Italian. I'm learning so much about my VTuber oomph today. I'm not Hispanic. Katsu's Hispanic. I'm learning... Next you're going to tell me that OG is actually like Caribbean. Or Bayo is... He's from Ghana. I'm a phase connect chan. It's a 50 chance between being brown or yellow. I mean, but I'm white. I'm a white monster. I mean, I'm a monster. I'm a pale monster. Like on my human side, I am white. I mean, I wouldn't be allowed in Agartha because I'm a monster. Well, no, I would be. You're Irish? But your name is Beowulf. You're named after a Germanic poem. I'm Mexican. Well, I'm not surprised by that, Nero. I'm not surprised that you're Mexican. I'm not surprised.
If you've ever found yourself in melee combat screaming, oh god, they're stabbing me, what the fuck, then I recommend playing Pirate, because the best way to practice social distancing is with a loaded gun. And this class has everything ranging from flintlock pistols to a literal cannon.
Okay, wait. I want to play this game now. If you can wield like an actual cannon. My accent hides being Chinese pretty well for the most people. I mean, so does Hime's. I actually had to look and listen in. Are you sure you're not like related to Hime? Okay, that maybe sounds racist, but I'm also a Face Connect fan.
Stylistically very cool, and also very broken. Since the pirate uses projectile weapons, we can pick up the skill Fracture, which doubles, triples, or even quadruples the number of bullets we fire and fans them out in an arc in front of us. Then, by combining that with Echo to repeat all of our projectiles, we can turn our single-shot cannon into an automatic cannonball shot.
This game is selling me. This game is selling me. Corn, I'm probably gonna buy this game and I'm gonna stream it because I know I'm not saying anything. I'm just kind of enthralled right now because this is looking good. People talk to me in Chinese, Japanese, Korean. Whoa, D-Man, you can't just say that. Can I not? Can a Dark Lord not make racial epithets and assumptions in the comfort of his own lair? Can I not accuse Armchair and his wonderful analysis and his very smooth voice? Can I not accuse him of being related to Hima Rie? Is that really a step too far? Is that really a step too far? But you know how I know that he isn't related to Himamiya Rie? Because unlike Himamiya Rie, Armchair does not scarouse me. He does not frighten me, nor does he strangely arouse me. If you climb far enough either of our family trees, then probably, to be honest. See, and he gives an honest answer. Convinced you to get it already, so you're a masochist? I wouldn't say I'm so much a masochist as I'm maybe easily amused, and I also like this seems cool and up my alley. Maybe I am a masochist. Maybe I am the masochist. What the comment regarding Himamiya Rie? Himamiya Rie? I can't even say her name right. Knowing how Rie feels towards siblings. Yeah, that's why Armchair should probably run. Listen, there's only one, there is only one Chinese woman that I yearn for. I'm just saying that Himamiya Rie, as far as I know about her and watched her, she makes me feel strange things. But I'm only loyal to one Chinese woman. I only yearn for one Chinese woman. You aren't a true Dark Lord if you can't express terminology to articulate the victim's inferiority? Yes, exactly. Listen, just because I am loyal and yearn after one woman doesn't mean that other women might not invoke other feelings involuntarily in me. And in my lower regions. I can't control that. That just happens. Unwillingly. A commendable demonster with the true heart. Exactly. Listen. Sometimes men, we all know this. Most of my viewers are men. And for the 6% of my audience who are women and watching this, listen. I'm very faithful. You're digging yourself deeper. You know what? Maybe I am digging myself deeper. But I don't care at this point. Strange like horse girls. Listen, my fellow men. Even though I am a monster. My fellow monsters, my fellow demongos, listen. Listen. Because I'm a VTuber, sometimes I also get to talk about my own private parts and our own biological functions. Listen, listen. We all know this. Sometimes men, we get boners. We get erect penises. But we get the strangest ones. The ones that we don't control. The blood just flows. The blood just flows. You know? The blood just flows there. And suddenly a new tower is erected. You didn't want to erect it. It just happened. It just happened. It just happens. And sometimes it happens while you're asleep. And you wake up. And you look down, and you feel down, and you look, and you're like, why do I have a boner? I don't even remember my dreams. Why do I have a boner? Why? You question why you have that boner. You question why you even have that erection, why your penis is acting in such an untoward manner. You know? Normally, I don't get this lewd, but this is a matter of manhood, okay? This is a manner of speaking about, like, what happens being a man. Okay? Because women talk about their periods, and I get it. They can't control that. I don't blame them for that. They can't control when they ovulate. Well, sometimes we men just randomly sometimes get boners. And we're not even thinking about anything dirty. It just happens sometimes, largely when we're asleep. Largely when we're asleep. Himeria just activates the impulse of conquest. She yearns to be brought to her knees to an obedient mistress of darkness as a pet. No. Well, okay, there might be something primal there, okay? Listen. There might be something primal there, okay? I don't indulge in that primalness. I may be a creature of a primal lineage, to be fair. Yeah, the body does a system check, okay? The body does a system check. And again, sometimes, this isn't even like trying to be like sexy. Like this isn't even trying to be like pornographic or lewd necessarily. Or talking about like gooning. This is just an anatomy lesson, okay? This is just like sharing the male experience of sometimes just getting an erection. And it's worse when you're trying to go to the bathroom, when you're trying to take a leak, you know? And unfortunately, for the rest of you, your members aren't like mine. Yours aren't ribbed, okay? Yours aren't ribbed. That offers an entirely other different challenge for me. Why am I talking about my penis again? I told myself I wasn't going to talk about my penis again, and yet here I am talking about my penis again. Am I so low that I'm resorting to dick jokes? Am I so juvenile? Yes. Yes, I am. I'm going to go back in my corner now. And we're going to watch the rest of the video. And we're not going to acknowledge penises again.
Shotgun. This gets really out of hand when you realize these skills also apply to your ultimate. Black Powder Bomb is a single projectile that deals massive damage. Now
Massive
it's 30
damage.
projectiles that wipe out an entire city block. God bless America. If for some reason your
Might say that's
megalomania
copper
still
bombing.
isn't satisfied, just get this legendary item.
And if your tower is up for more than 5 hours, see the architect. No, that's true. That's true. It shouldn't be up for that long. You don't want the blood flowing in that area. I mean, you want the blood flowing in that area. If there's no blood there, that's no good. But you don't want too much blood going in there.
The Finger of Death is probably the best ability in the game, and guess what? It's a projectile. So have fun wave clearing the entire dungeon with one click. Next class, the Reaper. If you feel it's unfair that surgeons have a monopoly on the limb amputation market, then this is the class for you. Because all of your skills and weapons specialize in turning people into human jigsaw puzzles.
Ooh, okay,
When I
this one
play
might
this
be my
class,
favorite.
I like to roleplay as one of the 7 doctors in all of Canada. And the monsters running toward me are my diabetic patients. I treat them with the most cutting-edge medical techniques at my disposal.
Well,
You've got
this
high
is-
blood
hold on.
pressure? I'm going to prescribe a sickle to the brain.
That's inaccurate. You wouldn't tear off their limbs if you were in Canada. You just kill them. You just kill them. Just straight up kill them. We all know that by now. You wouldn't remove their limbs. You just kill them. Because that's what Canada does nowadays.
Followed by an industrial
Canadian
bone
healthcare, I
saw
should
until
say.
you're a pile of ground beef. Take 3 times daily. This is a terrific class for society's most well-adjusted members. On to our next class, the Paladin. In Dante's Inferno, our main character is guided through the 9 levels of hell, with each one imparting an important lesson upon him.
Now you gotta make him weak
each
first. Oh,
class
true,
in
that's
Mortal
true.
Sin is meant to impart something valuable upon us, the player.
Hey, it's
The
pirate
pirate
software.
teaches us the importance of the Second Amendment. The martyr teaches us the absolute necessity of insane asylums. And the paladin teaches us the value of blocking. In a
I feel
game
like-
where
I
every
feel like
enemy
all
is
of
a
the men
blood-filled
that
meat
have been
pinata, there is
showcased
a
here-
temptation to hold down the attack
I feel
button
like
and
all the
never
men
look
that have
back.
been showcased here would probably eat at the Heart Attack Grill. If you guys don't know what that is, look it up. I think it's called the Heart Attack Grill.
But as a noble paladin, you must actualize the full power of your mouse by occasionally pressing right mouse button. The paladin utilizes unique skills to summon a rotating crucifix each time he parries an attack. These things are highly dangerous, and you can farm them infinitely, effectively turning you into an industrial-grade blender. Reject
Okay.
humanity,
I-
summon 30
we're
crucifixes,
turning into
and
a holy
become
blender,
a
okay,
kitchen
okay.
appliance. Alternatively, you could go for a body slam build. This skill buffs the damage of your dash ability and scales it based on your defense. The inevitable endpoint of this is that you clear each dungeon through a series of carefully planned head-on collisions while
I'm getting
role-playing
big.
as
I'm
A-Train from
getting
the
big demo man. I'm getting very big demo night vibes from this class. And I wish I was good at demo night in TF2.
boys. And if you're going to go that far, you may as well pick up Combustive Rush, which makes your footsteps explode. I know all these mangled bodies look bad, but trust me, this is the most humane and pacifistic way to kill an entire room full of people. In
Just like
conclusion,
Canadian healthcare.
Paladin, blend people to death, explode their loved ones, and worship the Lord. One more class to discuss.
Wait, who's that?
If you've ever tried to calculate the profit margins on ripping people apart with your bare hands, congratulations, you're a hoarder. This class foregoes traditional weapons in favor of punching people 500 times. The best part is that by activating your
Very
ultimate
hokuto
ability,
kid.
you can convert human suffering into extra gold in your bank account. Socialists will claim this is an accurate metaphor for late-stage capitalism and the undue violence it inflicts upon the proletariat. To that, I confidently respond, so what? If I have so much gold that I can power level to 500 and blow your head
Kind of
clean
based.
off with a right hook, then what I hold in my hand isn't just a weapon, it's the truth.
I can't respect poor people. I just stepped in some poor person's aftermath. Disgusting.
On a serious note, I think this is the strongest late-game class, and I'll tell you why. In Mortal Sin, you need to spend money to level up, and the Hoarder makes a lot of money.
Making
Please
that
stop.
dosh,
You're
making that
giving me
bank.
a painful erection, are
It's
the
me,
last
it
words
is
out of a
you.
Hoarder's
I
mouth
guess,
as
it is
they
you.
overdose on the capitalistic joy of liquefying an entire room of people to make an extra $10,000. However, it goes even deeper than that. They say that time is money, and as a level 20,000 Hoarder, I'm
Wait,
going to need to take that too.
Hold on. You can get that high? It's me throwing hands and I love capitalism? This is why I love you, OG. Respect. You're a real demongrel. You're a real demongrel.
which is why I equip the Neuroshard helmet. This lets me stop time for everyone else as long as I'm invincible. Then by maximizing my cooldown reduction, spamming ult, and cycling the Vault Breaker combo, I can become invincible 100% of the time, meaning I have indefinitely stopped the flow of time for everyone who isn't
Matrix.
me. Even on a metaphysical level, I'm getting richer than you. And once I figure out the logistics of charging people time rent, you better believe we're making this into a business. Now, you may think that's all a little silly. However, until
Vince McMahon, more like Vince McThrowing these hands.
you have frozen time, punched a boss in the chest 600 times, unfroze, and then watched him explode into a million pieces, you can't fully appreciate the beauty of this build.
Beautiful.
In fact, you could be forgiven for assuming I'm using all of these overpowered strategies for fun. But I'm not. This is a necessity, because the final boss of the game has only been completed by 0.1% of all players. And if you're not walking into that fight with a supervillain level strategy, you won't be walking out. Enigmatic, or more fittingly, the filter, is where most people realize they've been playing the game entirely wrong. Prior to Enigmatic, you feel like an unstoppable meat grinder of devastation. But once you fight Enigmatic, you're going to feel like the main character of a cuckold video. You're in the ethereal plane of human sin, and this guy slaps your girl's ass. What do you do? Answer, you die on the spot, because almost everything he does can one-shot you. I think the worst part about this fight is that he summons two completely invincible demons to chase you around and fuck with you. Sometimes they kick your ass, other times they just spin your camera around to disorient you into walking off a ledge. But all of the time, I hate them. I never considered being molested by invincible sex devils to be a viable game mechanic, and I still don't. From what I understand, the community is similarly displeased with this boss. But don't worry, I've already issued a credible death threat against the developer, so with any luck, he'll make it even harder. Now that we understand what we're up against, we can start a new game and begin crafting a horribly overpowered build in an attempt to maybe, possibly, with a little luck, defeat Enigmatic. But what class should we use to achieve this? Well, after much reflection, I've decided to choose Vampire. But why this class specifically? Well, if you ever find yourself upset that the demons of hell aren't killing you fast enough, and you want to take matters into your own hands, then Vampire is the right class for you.
I'm gonna add this to my list of games that I'm gonna buy.
Second of all, our
this week or next week,
and third,
then I'm gonna stream
we've got breast implants. Over dozens of years, the porn-sick gooner will desensitize himself to the point where he can't feel anything unless he's watching diaper Pokemon Yowie while stimulating his prostate with a lampshade. Similarly, all masochists will inevitably find themselves playing Vampire, because it is the ultimate form of digital flagellation. On a second-by-second basis, our health bar takes a horrific beating, but our ult gives us a huge amount of lifesteal, and with the right skills, it can be completely broken. So let's get to work. We spawn in at the Nexus. This is a safe zone which allows us to craft items, accept quests, and access each of the available areas. To unlock the final zone with Enigmatic, we must complete 3 of these dungeons. But before we can choose our first adventure, meet Helena. She is a racially ambiguous fallen angel that offers quests for us to complete in exchange for taking her clothes off. After surveying the list of available quests, I've determined our optimal route will be Dungeon, Forest, then Vessel. This will maximize our gold gain and get us a high-level weapon right before...
Because isn't it apparent that, like, it turns out that that Lumi herself is, like, part Chinese, part Russian? I remember seeing that was, like, a big revelation that was revealed. Again, she's part of Phase Connect, so... I mean, it makes sense that she would also be part Chinese. Everyone is Chinese in Phase Connect. Don't say her name, she'll hear you. Lumi doesn't watch my streams. I mean, Pewpie subscribed to me. Actually, wait, you're right. Maybe... I'll just keep watching.
For the final zone. Now, onto the dungeon. This is a vaguely medieval labyrinth full of demons, mechanical traps, and whatever the hell this thing is. If the dungeon was a flavor of ice cream, it would look like vanilla and taste like dried blood, which makes it a great and disgusting place for us to begin our journey. Things start off quite smoothly.
Everyone in phase is at least 15% Chinese. Yeah, probably. Probably. Pippa's at least like 35% probably. But she's also brown, so...
Just a few unarmed ghouls which we readily brutalize with a stick. Proceeding further, we acquire some random pieces of gear, a couple of skills, and also a new staff. This one slows enemies and, from what I understand, boils the blood inside their body. Truly marvelous. Delving further into the dungeon, I noticed the architecture becoming decidedly more hostile. How politically incorrect.
I thought he was going to say that, like... It was becoming more homoerotic, especially given the music. We gave Pippa the pass a long time ago. She probably has all the passes. I might even give her a monster pass. So she can say monster with the hard R. Instead of saying monster. Monsters.
Then again, we're over here boiling people alive and ripping their limbs off like a lobster. So I suppose we can't judge. I head into the final section.
That seems like it's kind of hard to do. Because lobsters are pretty tough.
Of the dungeon and immediately realize this place was designed by a lunatic. At least 50% of the square footage.
I mean, I'm pretty sure this entire game is designed by a lunatic, but that's also kind of why I'm into it.
Is actively trying to kill me. Every wall has tumors, and they've engineered spinning blade towers to carve us up like a turkey. On the upside, these traps...
Wall cancer is the #1 killer of multiple different forms of architecture.
Also work against the demons, so I spent most of my time kicking people into them. Eventually, the mini-boss spawned in to kill us, but I managed to get him stuck on the blade tower, and after losing 75% of his limbs, we were able to finish him off with a kick to the spine.
The fact he's still going with one leg is pretty
this
impressive.
also caused us to step on the pink pressure plate and activate our quest. Helena wants us to kill the mutants, in exchange for a large sum of gold, and they're starting to spawn in now. You can tell they're mutants because it looks like they were all made using spare parts, and the more you stare at them, the less comfortable you...
Hitting them with the fluoride stare. Is the dev finished? Is he finished? I thought he might have been like... Russian. Also, wait. These guys remind me of... I swear I've seen these faces before somewhere. On like a 90s or 2000s like cover. No, you know what it is? These guys remind me of, if anyone's seen the music video for I'm Blue, right? These remind me of the Blue Aliens. Man, I used to listen to that song all the time. I think it's called I'm Blue, and it was like by Eiffel 65 or something.
You get. So we give them the old razzle-dazzle and escape the dungeon to turn in our quest. To reward us for beating all of those disabled people to death, Helena gives us 50,000 gold, which I promptly invest at the leveling shrine. At this point, our build is what I would consider random bullshit, but we've got 2 more dungeons left to figure it out, so let's move on to the next quest in the forest. This dungeon would be more aptly titled The Farm, because we are a nice long stalk of wheat, and everyone here wants to harvest us violently. However, by twirling our staff at the speed of sound, we are able to harvest them first, easily clearing the first few rooms and finding a new pair of boots. These have a 12-inch long spike on them for lobotomizing people with our feet. The future...
Why did it always come back to feet? Why does it always come back to feet? Shooting Hadoukens with your feet, now giving people lobotomies with feet. You have perfectly good arms. You have perfectly good hands, perfectly good shoulders. Yet you resort to using your feet like a savage. Why? Why? Why would you do that to yourself? Treat your feet better.
future of brain surgery has never looked brighter. Heading into the next room, I lobotomize my way to the quest marker and activate it. Our objective is to hold this circle against waves of enemies for about 30 seconds. This was easily accomplished by bludgeoning everyone to death with a crucifix and letting the others walk onto the rotating buzzsaws in the floor. That'll be an easy 100,000 gold once we get back to Helena. Proceeding into the final room, we're starting to fight much higher level monsters, which is concerning. However, if it has limbs, I can make it not have limbs. That is my presidential promise to you, dear viewer. Our run almost ends twice when I accidentally sprint into these flying skulls. But after life-stealing my way to safety, I find the warlock who summoned them and make him disappear in a puff of red mist. Forest completed. Back to Helena, we grab our quest reward, power level a bit, and prepare for the next dungeon, the Vessel. This is a pirate-themed area, which, if I'm trying to be nice, has a lot of character. If I'm trying to be accurate, this is just pirate-themed cock and ball torture. You ever want to open a door and get shot in the face by a cannon? You ever want to be penetrated by 13 men at the same time? Maybe get dominated by a shark with legs? The Vessel aggressively...
Have you guys ever heard of the film Shark Side of the Moon? Look it up. Look up Shark Side of the Moon. Trust me. You won't regret it. Or maybe you will, but you should still do it. Because if you do regret it, I want to laugh at you.
To these needs. It's the hardest dungeon by far, but it also has some good loot, so let's give it a shot. Entering the Vessel, I quickly get to work emulsifying Long John Dickweed and his band of pirate followers, being especially cautious to avoid the rotating lawnmower blades they use as decor. After that, we come across a skill shrine and receive an upgraded hot streak. This gives us a 280% damage boost after scoring a crit, probably the best pure DPS perk for this class. Moving through the Vessel, each room has a higher density of cannons than the last, and it quickly gets to the point where if we stop...
You might say it's a canon event. Huh? Huh? Hold on, I'm trying to wink. Huh? Huh? Everyone's a critic.
Moving for even a second, we will die. So I activate this shrine in order to grant us a move speed buff. However, it comes with a curse which respawns all enemies in the room whenever I...
Sonic True Metal jump scare. Some women would be into that shark, man. Some? Well, yes, some, but that might be underselling it. That was a dud. Like those cannons. No, none of those cannons were duds. Speaking of duds, I could really go for some milk duds right now, but unfortunately, I don't have any candy on me.
I step on one of these pressure plates. You could view this as a downside just because it's written in red. Or you could be illiterate and colorblind and never know the difference. These things are all about perspective. Continuing onward, we pick up a new Blood Cross staff, which lets us summon a maximum of 6 rotating crucifixes around us. This pairs well with our current strategy of darting around like a crackhead, because the crosses can pulverize whoever we bump into. Time for our quest, the Immortal...
Oh, now you're throwing tomatoes at me. Also because I forgot latency was behind, so you guys are all like 15, 20 seconds behind me because I forgot to turn latency on. Again! Ugh.
Construct Challenge. Here we are in the cramped hallway of a dilapidated pirate ship, and when I step on this pressure plate, it's going to spawn an invincible and highly sexually aggressive demon to chase us. Our objective? Do not get molested. I don't understand what sick satisfaction Helena is hoping to get out of this.
Well, I mean, she looks like Kaneko Lumi, so you can probably assume that she's getting some sick satisfaction. She just needs like a more smug face.
But she's offering us a new weapon, so we've got to give it a shot. I hit the button and the pursuer spawns in. As if avoiding my own rape wasn't traumatizing enough, we have to also manage this while being shot at and chased by anthropomorphic sharks. Fortunately, by domestically abusing the...
Now I just want to sing the Street Sharks theme. They bite. They fight, street sharks, Jawsome. This whole level, jawsome. Absolutely jawsome.
dash button, we are able to remain unmolested and complete the quest. The carnage continues until we hit the final room. This one is usually pretty challenging because it spawns 2 mini-bosses that can one-shot you. However, we have so many rotating crucifixes that whenever they get close, their arms and legs are peeled off instantly. So we complete the final room with ease and head back to the Nexus. With all 3 dungeons complete, we have finally unlocked the last area, the Maw of Sin. This zone is absolutely dripping in a...
Did he say the maw or the mall? Because one sounds more horrific than the other. And also kind of interesting, like a mall of sin sounds like like a mall that is full of like adult stores. Actually, that sounds kind of awful. I wouldn't want to go to that mall. Take me to the mall instead.
Clips aesthetic, except at the end.
Like, can you imagine a mall just full of Spencer's gifts? Like, one is fine, but like, just an entire mall and every store is just Spencer's gifts. Ugh. Ugh. I'm trying to place it, but I just realized your singing voice reminds me of Jermaine Clement. It does? That name sounds familiar, but I can't place it. To be fair, I'm not much of a singer to begin with. Bro Monstrous, he's a singer. I am not. I unfortunately am not. Which is weird because I do kind of want to do a metal cover at some point, but I don't know. Maybe in the future, we'll see.
And instead of Griffith violating Casca, he's going to violate you. Once we enter, we'll have to fight through 2 kill rooms, the embodiment of sin, and then, if we're powerful enough, we can try to kill Enigmatic.
Wait, the Monument of Sin. It's, again, I know it's not Doom, but like Monument of Sin and then Avatar of Sin, it's just so close to the Icon of Sin, which isn't a bad thing.
So I go ahead and grab our new weapon from Helena and enter the Maw. The first room finds us trapped in a circular arena with about a dozen high-level demons. The cramped nature of this can be challenging. However, it also works to our advantage since we picked up the perk Manifest Weapon. Every time we combo, we summon ethereal rotating axes to hack apart our enemies, which allows us to quickly convert small rooms like this into large-scale meat grinders. Right now it's only level 1, but as we progress, this will become a central part of our build. Using that, we made it through the first and second kill rooms with no problem. Now we get to fight the embodiment of sin. Like any
Okay, they are they are just not saying Icon of Sin. We've got the Monument of Sin, we've got the Avatar of Sin, and now we've got the... no, then we had the Avatar of Sin. Never mind. This is the worst mall ever. There is no anti-ans or Cinnamon. Yeah, wait. Yeah, where is the Cinnabon? Where's the Antians? I demand my cinnamon sugar. I demand... You know, I think I might order some Cinnabon tomorrow for breakfast. But I'm also trying to watch my weight. That's the problem. I need to get fit. I need to get fit in time for FaceCon. I need to get rid of this spare tire that is on my belly.
Well-adjusted man, he climbs out of the floor and begins assaulting us with a giant mallet. In response, I employ the ultimate combo of running away. It's hard to see in this visual
the Joestar secret technique
setting, but this boss is actually an amalgamation of dead bodies grafted onto some kind of homunculus.
So he's Gravelord Nito? Or the Rotten from Dark Souls 2?
10 out of 10 design. Now, let's kill him. I get to work stacking my crucifixes and chopping away at his lower half. As long as we parry everything, we'll slowly wear him down. In fact, I've already managed to grind off one of his legs. He's now summoning flying skulls, which can easily one-shot you.
You know, when he says grind off one of your legs, I feel like that could be taken in a very sexual way, but I also feel like that's also like that's also like for some reason I'm just thinking like Sonic or Shadow the Hedgehog just like grind railing off his legs. You know, I do want to do a Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2 playthrough because I do love those games. If we start now, we can both enter the Matra review next year. Maybe we'll see. We'll see. I don't know if I want to show off my real leathery skin. We'll see. We'll see.
if they land at the same time. So we use our ultimate to get some invincibility frames, dash through the skulls, and rip off the boss's left arm. Using that move...
Because Dizzy was saying that one idea she had for, like, FazeCon, that I don't know if she got approval for it, but, like, she wanted to do, like, a muscle, like, a macho kind of, like, showcase, like, thing in real life with like... And I said... I said if they managed to get that approved, that I would, you know, be involved in that. I don't know if I'll get, like, shredded or fit enough or yoked enough to do that. So maybe it's best it didn't happen. But if it does happen, then I'm going to have to get, like, do an even more serious workout. Because even though I've lost a good amount of weight, I still need, there's still more trimming I need to do.
Once more, we also managed to get his other arm. He is now hopping away from us on one leg, so we corner him and tear it off. The forced removal of all limbs results in his immediate death. For my first 10 hours playing the game, I actually thought this was the final boss, but it's not. Through that portal is Enigmatic, the real final boss, and through this portal is New Game Plus. For the vast majority of people, you're not going to be ready to fight Enigmatic on your first run. Typically, you want to do New Game Plus to get better gear and skills. To illustrate this point, I will now attempt to kill Enigmatic with my absolute dog shit build. That was an abject failure. On to New Game Plus. We enter the portal and arrive back at...
Abject failure. A sensation I know all too well.
The Nexus on New Game Plus. This resets every dungeon and gives us a new list of quests. However, it also gives all enemies a power boost. This scales linearly. For the Redditors out there, that means straight line. Our goal is to, over the next 15 to 20 runs, gradually outscale the difficulty curve by accepting the right quests, picking the right skills, and farming enough gold. In theory, if we do this, we can deliberately craft a broken build and possibly defeat Enigmatic. However, it's going to take a long-ass time, so I'll give you the highlights. New Game Plus 1 all the way to New Game Plus 5, we focused on finding gear with good skills attached to it, then farming Helena for equipment upgrade quests. Only real members of my ethnically enriched neighborhood know that this is the most consistent way to become overpowered, because Helena absolutely juices the stat lines on your gear. Piece of shit boots you found at level 1? Yeah, upgrade them once, and they're going to last you the rest of your life. At some point during New Game 5, we also stumbled onto a secret portal which teleported us to the Witch's Hut. This is a rare encounter within a rare encounter, and we were able to trade with the Witch to receive our first legendary item, Callistra's Embrace. This is where our build finally starts coming together, because every time we level up our combo meter, this helmet spawns in a black hole which pulls in our enemies before exploding them into a million pieces. This gives us a tremendous amount of control over large groups of monsters, and pairs really well with our rotating axes. As a demon finds themselves sucked into the event horizon of a collapsing star, they ask themselves, how could this day get any worse? Only for a flying hatchet to materialize out of thin air.
This also, you know, if this has co-op, I would love to collab with someone on this in co-op. Because I was also thinking for, like, collabs of doing a Risk of Rain or Risk of Rain Returns. That's a very fun collab game. Or Spelunky. You know, speaking of roguelikes, Spelunky is I don't think anyone has beaten Spelunky co-op because it's so easy to die in that, but that would be really fun.
And cave in their skull. Picking up that helmet was a huge power spike, and as we level up our skills further, it's going to get ridiculous. Moving through New Game Plus 6, we managed to pick up a Spectral Mace. This is our highest DPS option for the Vampire, and by spamming upgrades on it, we've turned it into an instant kill on almost every monster. By New Game 10, we're now at level 2000, with 200% damage, 51% damage reduction, 30% speed, and 50% crit chance. However, more importantly, we found a new pair of boots. The Phantom Treads of Protection give us a chance to avoid damage in proportion to our current luck. At 100% luck, this becomes very broken, but even at 50%, it's a huge boost to our survivability. With all of these new upgrades, I decided it was time for us to once again...
I love games like this, because this reminds me of Risk of Rain 2, especially with mods, where you can just stack on absurd amounts of, like, buffs to do some, like, crazy, stupid things. Like, give yourself insane, like, mobility that lets you, like, move across the map. Oh, he's still awake? Yes, I am still awake. Welcome, Tail. Welcome back.
Challenge Enigmatic. And so began my 6-hour-long descent into insanity. Enter the Maw of Sin, kill a bunch of demons, blow this guy's back out, and fight Enigmatic. We do better, but still get crucified. Okay, let's try that again. One more time. Back to grinding. Kill 50,000 demons, level up 500 times, animatic again, and die. More demons, more gear, more levels, more death. Try using a sword, try using your fists, kicking him in the face, different visual settings, complain to the developer, contemplate assisted suicide. Doesn't matter, keep dying. This is the difficulty of the gameplay loop. You can level up 1,000 times, but if your build isn't right, it's only going to make a marginal difference against Enigmatic. Right now, we're struggling for more DPS. Fortunately, by level 2300, we had a stroke of luck. While exploring a dungeon, we came across Divino's Decree. These are legendary gloves with the Finger of Death ability. It turns your thrusts into spammable laser beam death rays. This...
Again, just more of the feet beams, the feet attacks. Just more feet. More feet, just more feet. You can't escape the feet.
Is big. Following that, we did a run focused on maxing out all of our other skills, which has resulted in our final and most complete build, which I am now titling Cosmic Blender Death Camp. Allow me to explain. We have max level Manifest Weapon and Singularity, so whenever we level up our combo meter, we summon a black hole and a blender full of axes. Typically, leveling up your combo meter is done by doing combos. However, killing people also helps a little, but by taking and upgrading the skill Combo Mastery, killing people now helps a lot. In fact, I've realized that the combination of these 3 skills allows us to kill an entire room full of demons while being AFK. All we have to do is level up our combo meter once. This summons a black hole and a bunch of axes. The black hole pulls everyone inward, forcing them into the axes, which kill them. The blending of 12 people at a time causes our combo meter to level up multiple times. This results in an indefinite chain reaction of people.
Does anyone remember, like, there was a thing where, like, apparently if you put a black hole inside a black hole, like if 2 black holes sucked each other in, if 2 black holes merged, like, it would destroy the universe or something. I don't know if that was actually ever verified, or I think that at one point 2 black holes did sort of fuse together and then nothing really happened. I don't remember. I'm just talking nonsense because it is getting a little bit late and I want to finish this video. This is a good video, and this is very informative, very entertaining. I do want to actually play this game, Mortal Sin. It looks very, very fun.
People being sucked into black holes and processed into pulled pork.
So thank you, Korn, for suggesting this. This is a good video. A bag of holding instead of bag of holding. Yeah, I think so.
Like it or not, but Cosmic Blender Death Camp is the pinnacle of room clearing technology. Now at last, by level 4000, we have reached our final form. It's time to kill Enigmatic once and for all. Alexa, play lo-fi beats to study and kill demons to.
Heck yeah, I'm into this. Oh wait, Mortal Sin, you have that? What channel is this? This is, what's his name?
So far so good. The only thing before us now is the big man. If we want to defeat him, this will need to be a mechanical symphony of everything we've learned up to this point. Phase 1, high burst damage with Finger of Death, spam blood crosses and black holes while he's invincible. Parry any basic attacks and use
NASA or like one place already find, like, didn't they capture a picture of a black hole? Or something like it? Yeah, it is
avoid the Black Dome of Death. Phase 2, basically the same as Phase 1, but now we have to also avoid being sodomized. Phase 3 is where shit gets real. The floor is replaced by moving platforms, and the boss is tweaking out as if he just received a crystal meth enema. Honestly, an ass full of amphetamines is probably the best way to get through this part, because I've died here at least 100 times. But that ends now. Enigmatic spawns in, beats the shit out of Helena, and we get to work.
Dang, he really is a true he's a true Goomy to beat up Lumi like that.
Reggie, get up. It is not.
It's Anarchy. It's Billy Harrington. He's the real boss for this gym.
Your time.
Yeah! He vibing.
Dear God, I can't believe he's dead. I've been farming animatic attempts all afternoon, and now my soul can rest. Following this, we're teleported onto a floating rock where Helena gives us some exposition, but I was too hyped up from that fight to actually understand any of it, and I became especially confused after she dropped to her knees in front of me. I'm not going to lie, receiving oral sex from an angel while floating through oblivion could have been the greatest video game ending of all time. Unfortunately, that's not the case here. In fact, after 30 seconds of being confused, I accidentally kicked Helena in the face and killed her on the spot. I know this looks bad, but it's actually...
I don't know why, but that was really funny. That got to me. Nope, wrong game. I have Mortal Shell. Oh, different game, different game.
Good ending. Get ready for a lore dump. Turns out a race of angels called the Tarculents designed Animatic as a machine to aggregate, contain, and mechanically purify all of human sin. Think of it like DeviantArt being moderated by Grok AI. What a daring concept. However, we as a species are so profoundly degenerate that Animatic decided, holy shit, it would just be easier if everyone was dead, which from a problem-solving perspective, I can respect. Fortunately, we killed him. However, Helena is worried that the Tarculents will build another, which brings us, officer, to why I'm standing in front of a dead hooker. Animatic draws his power from divine entities such as Helena. So if there's no Helena, then there's no Animatic. I really wish she told me that part before I spent 25 hours killing demons, because I would have set a new land speed record for kicking her square in the jaw as soon as I started the game.
Yeah, he really is. Yeah, the Goomy Dream, exactly. Like, straight up, the Goomy Dream, exactly.
But either way, it's all over now. Animatic is dead, Helena is on the underside of my shoe, and we are the Vampire Lord. Thank you again to Mortal Sin for sponsoring this video.
Alright, that was an awesome video. I'm definitely gonna try and play this Mortal Sin game. That looks fun. That looks fun. I will put it on my to stream list, but it is rather late here, and your Dark Lord must retire. He must retire for the evening. I will be back tomorrow to play some Digimon Cyber Sleuth. And then after that on Saturday, I will be doing some Hellboy, The Web of Weird. But I hope you all had fun tonight, my demongrels. I know it was a ZatsuD'an. I know it was a bit random. But it was also my stream and my way of unwinding. To the stream list grows exactly. But until next time, my demongrels, fare thee well.